I want him to see that place because he's gonna like it.
It says we're live, but I still I gotta get rid of the emojis.
I didn't see where he went live yet. Let's see. Loki, get down, please. Get down. Well, my computer starts working slow. Yeah. Yeah, you just went live. Yep.
All
Yeah,
right.
Johnny was live this morning. I didn't even get on the show.
Really?
Yeah. I was doing other stuff trying to get ready for the show to get on the show. Like when I went to get on the show, he said he was getting on.
Yeah, I just came back from doing a ship. I'll tell you what, it sure is tough flying at Air 2S in 40-mile-an-hour winds.
I wouldn't have done it.
The because you know how I do the loop around the ship?
Yeah.
I got up almost to the bow on the other side of the bridge, and it wouldn't go any further. So I had to back down and around.
Wow.
And I had switched it into sport mode, and nope. It helped a little bit when I was underneath the bridge, the sport mode, but once I got out in the lake with that wind coming right off the north off the lake at 40 miles an hour, wouldn't go. I'm still impressed with that little Air 2S, man.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
That's why it's my go-to drone, you know. Hey, I enjoyed your river run yesterday. the
Which one? I have
one, the
two.
one, well, the one with all the boats and everything, and you were
Oh,
flying.
that's what you call it. That was Castine Bayou, Bayou
Yeah,
Castine. Yeah, the other one, I like the other one better because that's where we're going today. That's the Bogfalia River. That's the one up in Covington because it's more of a slower river and it doesn't have any boats on it, but you may catch kayakers on it. And they had a couple of girls on a kayak. They looked like they were high school girls. Might have been seniors that just graduated or just got out of school.
yeah.
And I'm telling you, the first one looked familiar, but I didn't really pay attention. She looked like they could have been a couple of them from Mandeville softball. That's what it kind of looked like. And when I got close, she waved, and then they both kind of sat back and smiled and posed. And when I came back the other way, they both waved again. And it just fit the video perfect because it was a little quiet video. Somebody told me that it was the favorite video I ever put out. The most favorite. But we're sitting at 59 degrees right now, and it's supposed to go up to 80 degrees. So I don't know how long it's going to take before it gets to 80 degrees. So I'm torn between wearing a long sleeve shirt or a short sleeve shirt.
Yeah.
You know, because it's got where we're going. There's a lot of trees, so it's going to be shady.
And it's going to be how high?
It's going to 80.
80. Wow.
Well, we're
well,
going to be in the 80s
it's
for next week.
36 degrees here and it feels like 29.
Well, we're already in that beginning of summer. I tell you, it's already trying.
Oh, and then when I pulled up into my spot down there, all of a sudden I see this great big huge limb floating down the water.
Uh, I'm glad you didn't go try to land on it.
Yeah, no. I had my marine radio with me and I thought, "Gosh, should I call that in? Nah, I better not. The big ships aren't gonna be out there and there isn't gonna be any small craft out there, I don't think. Because I usually report the position it is and floating, south or whatever.
Yeah. I got all the pups right now on the side of me trying to get food, and I haven't given any of them food because of the fact that I can't give her anything.
Yeah. Speaking of giving her anything, I made a side trip. Tim Hortons,
Yeah, I figured that was it.
Boston creams.
Yeah, that looked good.
That's part ice cream and Boston creams are my addiction.
Damn, I need my Marine Corps money to come in.
Any word on
This,
that?
well, no, I'm gonna give them until the 8th of the month. Next month, I'll contact them because that'll be 8 months. And they said they're running about 2 months behind, so want to be getting close. Want to be getting close. But the reason I'm saying that is because my buddy, the guy's real estate that I'm shooting for, he keeps putting out pieces of property, and this is a nice little house. Yeah, this is a nice little house, big wide open. No, stop walking. You're not getting nothing. No. Big wide open kitchen. The living room would be wide open if they wouldn't have cluttered it up. It's not a little bitty living room.
What kind of money?
175. Little cheap stuff. I don't want a big one. I don't want a big house. I want something that's gonna be comfortable for me. And this is a little 3 bedroom, but it's I think it's only sort of footage. Where the hell? I know how to get out of it now. What is sort of square footage of this thing? A 3 bedroom. You ready for this? It's only 1,200 square feet. That's little.
1 bedroom and 2 closets?
That's what I'm thinking. Must be bedrooms for something else. That's too small. Yeah, I want at least 1,500. It's a pretty little house, but the living room. When I saw the living room's just too small. Living room's smaller than what I got right here. Yeah, they got one of them that I haven't looked back at because I guarantee it's gone already. That's in the Beauchene Country Club, and that's a gated community, real big homes, everything beautiful back there. But they also have some little areas on the outskirts of it that are little 2 bedrooms, and they're really nice little houses. And this was a little house right on the edge of the golf course, and it's a 2 bedroom. I think it was 1,600 square feet. It had a big fenced in backyard. You know, most of the yard was like cobblestones, like cobblestone. So it was actually it was more like a thick like rock tile type of thing.
Is there
So you didn't have
any fees for owning that?
any what? Oh,
Fees?
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have fees for that. That's you get stuck because that's Beauchene. Might cost you another 2,000 a year.
Yeah.
But they only wanted 220 for it, and 220 was a good price for that because it's a beautiful place. They had a lot of room on the inside. Everything was wide open. The kitchen was wide open. It was a wide open kitchen. Then it had a pass through, so you could have like bar stools and eat there if you wanted to. Just like mine's got in the back. And that's a nice feature. Cause you just put the stuff right there, you know. But I like the fact that it was right in the back, and they had a big tree in the back, and then it went right into a pond and then the golf course. So they had a pond and back you could fish in. So it was a nice little area. And I said the yard was nice. The dogs would have had a fit in it. With that thing, like I said, 220, that's cheap. It had a when you walked in the front door, you had your living room to the right, but when you walked in, you had it was almost the length of the from the floor to the ceiling, and it was about I think it was 6, 7 foot wide. It was like a glass cabinet that was
Really?
built that was built on one wall between the pass through and everything. And what it was like shelving behind glass, and he had all kind of different like trophies and things up in there. It's almost like your own little trophy case that you could put stuff in, and you didn't have to worry about people fooling with it and get it all dusty and everything else. So I would have used that to put some family pictures in or something. But that was pretty. That was, I mean, it was. I really liked it. Bedrooms were nice, and I think the only carpet was in the bedrooms, and that's what I want. I want to get away from the carpet too.
Took me all this time to get my chat up. So I
Yeah, I
got
don't
the
even
chat
have
running.
I
Hey,
don't know who's in the
Sarah,
chat.
Mark
Sarah,
White, Jonathan.
Jonathan, how you doing, family? I don't have a chat up. Like I said, I'm getting ready to run.
Yeah, Sarah, it's good to see you. You're back home again. Imagine the kids and your hubby missed you. Oh yeah, the link. Okay, yep. Okay, Mark, hang on.
Yeah, Mark's gonna probably come take my place in a few minutes. Shoot, I haven't even eaten breakfast yet. I'm gonna grab a Pop-Tart, eat it on the way,
Yeah.
if I still have one. Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go. There's the link. Sorry about that, gang.
yeah. I bought a thing of Pop-Tarts the other night, and I had it sitting back here, and I came in, and one of them was gone. My health nut son ate one. My healthy eating son ate a Pop-Tart. See, I don't think that's fair. I can't have a piece of that candy he got.
Okay, Cool Cat. Cool Cat said he's going to join us in a little later.
Yeah. He would have been here already, but he's got to talk to the servants first. Seems they haven't been cleaning the palace right. And one of them keeps walking back and say, "Hey, Princey." So he's got to talk to him about his protocol.
Yep. So, if you got to go, you got to go, Joe.
Well, I'm good. I got a couple of minutes because I don't want. As soon as I start moving, they're gonna try to get. I got to put food in the dishes. That's the thing. So I'll put the food in the dish. Then, then when they go in there, I'll grab
which one is going to the vet?
a little one, Cleo,
Cleo.
black one.
So what does Loki think about you leaving with Cleo?
Logan don't give a shit. Now Tino is different. Tino, that's his thing. If I say that word, he'll be spinning around at the front door because he's ready to go. He wants to go there. He gets there as soon as I stop the car. He climbs over the top of me, And I can't even get out the car fast enough.
Really?
I put him down. He runs over to this one tree they got out there because that's a spot. He runs right to the tree and pees on it like that. And then he runs across that little strip of grass they got and drops his little other pieces. And then he'll start shaking and scratching the grass and everything. And then he's all happy, and then he starts running towards the door.
Wow.
He loves the vet. He loves going to the vet. I'm saying that, and he's going like this. He's going, looking back at me. The other one,
Did you see Cool Cat's latest post in the chat?
no, I didn't. I don't have the chat up.
Okay, here's what he said. USA Drone Joe. Hear me out. I've got an idea which I suspect the viability of which hinges on technical limitations above anything else. Then he says, what if you were to print drone community member poker chips?
Yeah, there is a little problem. I could print poker chips. I could print poker chips because I could print them like this. Let me show you. I could print them like this. It's like a poker chip, basically, like a size.
Yeah.
And then, like in mine, on the back, I got a sticker.
Okay.
You know, I could do something like this. And they got poker chips that you could print off. But the problem I'm going to have is going to be a one color poker chip because I don't have a way to make the other colors that intertwine change colors.
So it isn't the problem of printing the poker chips.
Yeah,
it's
because
the
that's
problem of,
see how the different colors.
yeah,
I can't get the different colors like that.
you can't get the different colors.
No. Don't believe me, I've thought about it. I've been trying to think of how to do it. I could do different colors like that. Red, white, and blue. Where it's blue, and you get the white in the middle, and you get the red. And then I did the blue for the dark color, so you can see the name better.
Right. That's something
I
to
did
think
the same
about. As technology changes, maybe it'll get to the point where,
Yeah, it's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. Because they do have the poker chips in there. Now, one of the guys yesterday was talking about the rib riders, the things that protect the guards on the Avata.
yeah.
They said his fit the Avata too, but it was just it was a little loose, but it still held on. I went and got one and stuck them on, and they got a couple of pieces that kind of mess it up where they won't fit, but they do fit pretty good. So I was looking at it. I'm gonna play with that today. I don't have TPU. That's the thing. I'm gonna look at it today, and I'm gonna put it in the slicer and see if I can slice those pieces off that are in the way, which I should be able to do, and I might be able just to adjust the size of it just a little and make it fit right. So I might be able to use the diagram that's already on the internet for the rib riders, like Dobo's selling, to be able to make it to fit mine.
Yeah.
And then I could just print it. But I'd have to buy a TPU. I'd buy a little bit of TPU to try it. Or I'll give it to John and tell him you try to see if it fits. Because he's got TPU. After I design it a little bit, and if it works, I'm say, shoot, I'll get some TPU and print it. But I ordered a set last night for the regular Avata in orange. That was a different kind of set I saw. It was just 4 different pieces that snapped on. It's not one big piece. And I've looked at that. I said, well, if it's 4 different pieces, you don't have the pieces in a way, that might work. But if it doesn't, I'll put it on the Avata that I'm going to keep because it's orange and the props are orange and all the details are orange on it.
Yeah.
So I'll keep it in that one color scheme. So it's gonna. I got 5 more minutes.
5 minutes, huh?
Yeah. My problem is, like I said, we're going straight, so I got to bring drones with me too. So that's gonna be fun, carrying a dog and drones and everything. You know.
Oh, also, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a little bit of what the video I did this morning on the ship. I was being swarmed by birds.
No.
Okay, see that?
Yeah.
Seagulls.
Man, that ain't good.
Nope. And it gets even better. There's another one that was below me. They're over top of me now. That's in the heavy winds, 40-mile-an-hour gusts. And it was windy.
Yeah, I wouldn't have. I don't think I'd have been flying in 40.
Okay, here's I'm trying to go ahead of the ship and see the drone's actually was losing altitude. I had to correct it. But look at the flags over there on the American side.
Yep.
Those are 16-foot flags. And I'm having a hard time getting around the ship.
Yeah, you need to not be out there with that.
This is the furthest around the ship I could get. You know, I usually do it around the ship.
Yeah.
That's as far as I could get right there. So
Yeah, you weren't going around.
That's when I decided to go back the other way. I was trying to get out in front of it here, but every time I went sideways, it just headed for the ship.
Yep.
So I went straight out into the lake, figuring, well, then I was going to spin around and hopefully be on the other side. And here's where it spun to.
Yeah.
Boom.
Wow. Yep. That sucker was stopping you.
Yep. And
Yep.
that was in sport mode.
Wow. Okay, Mark's here. He's gonna take my place.
Hi,
Hey,
Joe.
Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hi, Paul.
Yeah, you're gonna take my place. I gotta run out to the vet.
You've got to go and fly with Johnny. Yeah, no, I heard.
Yeah.
Well, no,
But I
he's
gotta drop
he's got to take
Gotta get a dog off
rubber
first.
dog to the vet.
All right.
Yep. So I'll see y'all later today.
Okay.
So you'll get to the vet and you might see Johnny in about 3 hours.
No, he's leaving at 9. I drop her off
Yeah, no,
about
but
8:45.
you'll be looking at the vet.
No, I
Well, no,
just
he's
drop her
dropping
off.
them off.
Yeah, I just have to drop her off.
Then go back and pick them up. What at 3 o'clock?
Yeah, that's a good thing. So, but I'll see y'all a little bit later.
Okay, Joe.
Okay.
Drive careful.
Bye.
Fly careful too.
Oh. Yeah, I think 40-mile-an-hour winds is just a little bit too high.
Yeah, the Inspire probably could have handled it more, but I haven't
Possibly.
really flown the Inspire much at all. It's just kind of sitting.
Mm. I mean, the Air 2S will just about reach 40-mile-an-hour at its top speed, won't
Yep. Warren wants to get in the poker chip business, I think.
it? Mm.
Well, I'm glad you showed up, Mark. I was starting to feel a little, Joe and I were feeling a little left out.
Oh, I've been here since the beginning. It's just that you hadn't put the link up. So I couldn't get in.
Well, it's up there now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, when you're the one that said link, and so that's when I turned
That's
around and
right.
did it right away.
Yeah, but I was making a cup of tea then when you did that. So
Okay, all
I
right.
came on as soon as I'd sorted myself out. Turn the air back on these fish now they've finished feeding. When I put the food in, I always turn the filter and the pump off so
Yeah.
that it doesn't suck all the food out before they vet it.
Yeah, for some reason I keep waking up early in the morning, like at 5:45 or 6 o'clock, or so I went.
Yeah,
I sat around here and was tracking a ship, and it came up, and but it wasn't a typical flight.
no, no.
But it was what it was.
Yeah, you got it, didn't you? That's what
Yeah.
matters. Yeah.
I just didn't get this going around the other side, although I got the other side of it as it was originally spotted going up north, so.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to do anything to jeopardize any more drones, do you?
No. I keep thinking if it does happen, that's God's way of telling me you're done with your droning days.
Mm.
Because it's getting harder and harder to get down there. And the other thing I find now is when I'm running the sticks, every once in a while I get a little thumb wiggle, it's like,
Mm. Yeah. And you got all your stuff back yesterday? Mm?
yeah, what's that?
Did you manage to get your guns back yesterday?
Yes, yep.
Good.
Yep, got them all taken care of. They had to, take a copy of my um, um, identification card and everything,
Yeah.
and then, it makes sense. The police clerk had the guns in her possession. She walked me
Mhm.
out to the front door and handed them to me.
Right. So they didn't give you till you left the property. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you not have to have a strong box to take them home in?
No, no, because they were wrapped. There was two boxes. Here's one of them.
Hmm.
Says handgun storage box,
All right.
and it says, it had it wrapped with the evidence tape. Everything was evidence.
Yeah. Mm.
But I got them back. So
Yeah. Did they take the ammunition as well, or did they let you keep that?
the ammunition, good question. I got back the clip that was full. I thought I had two clips full, but I don't know.
Mm. And did you not have a box of spare?
Yeah, I thought I did, but
Maybe phone them up just to check.
let me look here. Oh yeah, here's the other clips.
All right.
Yeah, here's the other clip. There's a big clip. There's two clips here.
Mhm.
There's a small clip. Yeah, they were in this plastic. This is a Alpha belly wrap gun holder. See it?
All right. Yeah.
That's how you carry the gun.
Yeah.
And I bought that and never used it.
Mm.
Anyway,
Yeah. Always gets me on these programs you see on telly where they're shooting loads of bullets and changing the clips. You never see them putting the empty clip in a pocket or something. They always drop the clip on the floor and leave it there.
oh yeah, exactly. Hey, Waypoint New England. Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, Brian.
Brian is in the house and Recovery One Drones. Hey, how you doing?
Hello, Dre.
Dre is here.
Mm-hmm. Well, I put my RC on to charge up and it won't charge.
Really?
Mm.
That's on your new one?
Well, it's 2 years old now, but yeah.
The Tello, right?
No, the one on me for me Mini 3 Pro and the Air 2S.
Oh, okay. All right.
The same ones that you've got.
Okay.
So I might have to get a cleaning thing and try cleaning the
Contacts.
socket. Yeah, the charger socket. See if that helps. I know it's not the plug because I put the plug into something into the batteries and that charges up. So, and if it doesn't work, then I'll have to get in touch with DJI and tell them it just won't charge up anymore. yeah, I've had it. Might be 2 years in. When did it come out? The Mini 3 Pro came out in May, I think. And I got mine in June, so it'll be 2 years old in a couple of months.
The yeah, the weather just is yucky.
So that means I've got 2 more months of Carey Fresh left, just in case.
Oh, you got 2 months of Carey Fresh. You might want to call them.
Yeah. But if it's a problem with the socket, they might cover it under warranty. It depends on how long
Right,
they think
exactly.
the warranty should last.
Yeah. Jonathan. Well, Mark, it was nice of you to pop in with me. I just I just don't at this point know how long we're gonna keep it up because we're down to only
Yeah,
12
it's all
people
right.
watching.
We got 12 watching.
Yep.
It's still early. I mean, Dominic won't be here because it's about 1 o'clock in the morning there. Oh, no, 9 hours, isn't he? So it's
Midnight.
14, 20, 11 o'clock. Nearly midnight, yeah. 11:30.
Oh yeah, Dominic's probably turned in.
And David will be sorting bits and pieces out, I would imagine. And Sarah asked a question from Justin a while back.
Oh,
Morning, Mark.
Hey, Lance, how you doing?
Hi, Lance.
Good, good. I came in when you opened shop, but I had to disconnect because I was using my phone as my monitor for my flight this morning.
All right.
What do you fly your Air 2S with, Paul?
My the smart controller, the original old one. I've got the new one, and I don't particularly like it because the screen isn't as bright. But I'm still using the old one.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm using the N controller. I don't like it, a ton. I mean, you got to hook my phone up to it, but
yeah,
I might use the new controller, the original or the RC, but I just haven't hooked it up yet.
It only takes seconds. It's really easy to do.
Yeah.
I use the RC with both my Mini 3 Pro and my Air 2S.
Yeah, I use that RC with my my Mavic 3 and my Mini 3. I think those are the only two things I use it with.
It only takes a couple of seconds to switch it from one to the other, doesn't it?
And for some reason, I thought I'm going to keep the N controller on this Air 2S. I don't know why I thought that. I forgot now.
Yeah, but I plugged my RC in this morning to charge up, and it won't charge.
Bummer.
Jonathan, I didn't understand what your question was referring to. It says, what won't change?
Yes, Jonathan, he has 2 of the DJI RCs. He'd just rather use the old one. Says it fits his hands better.
Yes, I do have the new RC, but I prefer the older one. The screen is brighter. It's 750 nits versus 560, I think, on the other one.
No, the RC 700, and I think the old smart controller's 1,000.
There's the one I don't use. Here's the one I'm using. Old versus new.
Mm.
You get any ships today, Paul?
Yeah, I just got one. It was 40-mile-an-hour gusts, and I couldn't get around the front of the ship, so I ended up got the both sides and partial front, but then I had to come back.
40-mile-an-hour winds with that Air 2S. That's nice.
Yeah, it flew fine, other than when I got north of the bridge and I was heading out in the lake. All of a sudden, it kind of like stalled and wouldn't go any further. So
Morning, Jody.
it is. What
Say,
it
don't
is.
tell me you lost another one.
No, Donald. No,
Hi,
no.
Don.
Morning, Donald.
I was out flying a ship and it was 40-mile-an-hour gusts, and boy, it was strong.
He had the boat flying around the drone.
You know, I love the way the Air 2S flies. I almost like it. I like it better than any of the drones that I fly. I don't know why.
It's my go-to drone. Jonathan said if I'd have taken the Inspire 1, I might have been able to handle the wind, but I don't know.
Mm.
Morning, Jonathan. Well, a heavier drone, I mean, you got a trade-off. They can handle a little bit more of the gusts because they're not getting buffeted around quite as much. They have that weight on their side.
Mm.
Stronger motors.
Well, and it's got bigger props, but it also is heavier, so it's like,
Yeah.
what's the trade-off? Although I do know on a good day that the Inspire 1 will go up to 45 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, isn't it a bit more awkward to fly and use the camera at the same time?
Yeah. Well, what you do is you control the drone. You can.
You lock the camera and basically treat it like any other drone.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
You're shooting with the drone and not with the gimbal.
Yeah, and you can
Yeah.
use the gimbal
You still
up
get your
and
tilt.
down as you normally would, but you have to push a button and then it pans, and I don't want to do that. So
Mm.
Now, I haven't ever actually flown the Inspire. You can switch over and control the gimbal pan separately while it's in the air, correct?
yes,
So that is one good thing about it. That's one thing that I wish I would have had on the Phantom, is being able to rotate the camera to get a panning shot, but I'm still flying forward. I'm still all my controls are still, usually it's a diagonal that I'm wanting, getting a diagonal shot.
Mm.
And
see, that was the change in the Inspire 2s. The Inspire 2 had a camera on board that also transmitted, so that when you're using the second controller that the camera guy would use, whoever was flying it could still see forward.
oh yeah, that's cool. But I still like the Phantom. I got really good at because I always like those shots. I don't want to directly side trucking shot. I don't want to have that like little side shot. I don't want to be flying straight at where I'm going. I want to have the camera offset just a little bit, but still be going this way and traveling along the length of something. And so you get really good at flying diagonal when you're after those kind of shots.
Mm.
So you just kind of line up your shot and you fly diagonal, get your shots good. And normally I'm flying with my eyes on the drone and glancing at my shot, make sure I'm still on target on the shot.
Mm. So your point of focus is not staying still. You're actually moving along.
I'm doing a balance between left and forward on the sticks.
Yeah,
I'm going at a
'cause
diagonal, and you don't want to
otherwise
too much
spotlight-
forward. You get too close to the subject. Too much sideways, you drift away from the subject. So you kind of
Yeah,
track that line.
Here's the ship this morning. I'll
because
give you
if
guys.
you were just using the one point for your focus, then spotlight would have worked because it doesn't matter which way you fly the drone, the camera will always look at that point.
That damn seagull's looking at me right there.
Yeah, but we're talking about Phantom 4.
Which doesn't have spotlight.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, you almost got hit by a seagull, Paul?
Well,
I
yeah,
just
but it
didn't-
was 40-mile-an-hour
Okay.
winds, Justin.
The seagull was just taking a look.
Want to know
Yeah.
what the hell I was doing up there?
Wait.
Yeah.
That was 40 mile an hour winds.
Yep. Well, I was gusting anywhere from 35 to 41.
And you're flying which drone?
The Air
That's
2F.
us.
And wind gusts are worse than sustained winds.
Yeah.
'Cause when they come in out of nowhere, just
See how
I don't know.
it dropped a little bit? I didn't do that. I had the upstick going to keep it up because the wind was buffeting it. But
Yep,
see,
especially when you're going.
I switched it here to the higher mode for flying, sport
Yeah,
mode,
and
and
high winds are especially insane around structures, and you're basically you're taking shots of a moving structure.
right.
So you're going to
Plus,
have
you've got
even crazier wind
turbulence,
turbulence.
turbulence caused by that bridge as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So here it looks like it's gonna do what I want it to do, okay? But then it stalls when I go sideways to go around the front.
well, like I said, sustained winds are better than gusts.
You look at
'cause
those
sustained
flags.
winds, the drone's going to constantly be compensating. Gusts, so it's going to come out of nowhere and just throw that
Yeah.
drone out.
Yeah, you're trying to. Yeah.
I'm trying to get around the front of it.
My guess is that you have a little bit more power in the forward.
In the forward,
You
yep,
have
that's what I
more
thought.
you have more ability to
But
tilt
see,
the
what I
drone
did
forward and
was
get speed.
here,
Then the side doesn't go quite as far over, so you don't get that.
what I did is I switched here. I figured, well, maybe I can get around by going forward to get around it, right?
Mhm.
So I switched around to the forward, full tilt. So when I swing back around to take a look at where my ship is, it hasn't changed any.
Maybe the wind was a little more sustained out past the bridge.
Oh yeah, it is. That's
Yeah.
the lake.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you're going under that bridge too. I'm sure it's creating some kind of funnel for that
Mm.
wind.
Yeah, this is after the bridge. So the wind is coming
Okay.
in straight from off the lake towards the bridge. So after he passes the bridge, he's
Yep.
getting full wind from the lake. The bridge may have been causing turbulence, which gave you a little bit more ability to get through it.
Yes.
It may have been buffeting you around, but the wind wasn't a sustained wind against you.
Yeah, the trouble with the turbulence, it would also create low pressure spots underneath the drone and
Mm-hmm.
But
Which
But
explains why
I
it was dropping.
dominating out there
Dropping,
flying,
yeah.
for sure.
So that's what I bet that's what was happening. You're getting turbulence off the back of the ship and the bridge,
Yeah.
which was letting you fly fast enough. It's gonna shake you around like crazy, but you're gonna move a little bit quicker in it.
Yep. Exactly.
I'm
But at
back.
least-
Did you guys miss me?
Yep.
Go ahead, Lance.
Yeah.
We missed you so much.
Yeah.
Look at Mark.
I thought you-
Look at Mark's face. He was just pining away.
I had to run into Safeway and buy some donuts for my TAs. That goes a long way. They like Wednesdays.
He as bad as Paul. He went into Tim Hortons and got some Boston creams.
Oh, I should have got Boston creams. Paul, can you send me a couple cyber creams?
There they are.
Put them through the monitor. I'll just hand them to my second period boy. Would love that.
Mm.
I'm addicted to Boston creams and ice cream.
And Pepsi.
Well, my project today is putting Adobe's AI to the test.
What are you gonna do?
I have a client who I had done commercials for in the past at the old business, and they're wanting some changes made. Well, I don't have any access to any of those old files or raw footage. Well, they're wanting to change the audio, and the audio is already mixed down on the master that I've got. And they're wanting to change some titles on the end screen, which is over moving video.
Mm.
And so
Very cool.
I'm going to be
Hey,
exporting the audio
hey,
and going through Adobe Podcast. I've used it before. As long as the music is not too bad, it's really good at isolating vocals.
Yeah.
So I'm going to drop the audio out to isolate the vocals, put in a new audio track, and then try and use After Effects generative fill to remove the titles.
Boy, you're going to put everything to the test, aren't you?
Yep. I
Hey, do
probably
this.
will end up having to put some sort of graphic in that place where that generative fill is, because I don't think it's going to be pretty enough on its own. But I think it'll mask it enough that I can use it. I don't have to put like a big, large block of color on top of it, which I always hate.
So hey, Don,
Mm.
do this if you don't mind. Capture the original, and then whatever you change your changes, capture that, and if you wouldn't mind, share it with me, because I would love to show my kids what AI could do,
Okay.
if you don't mind, and I'll give you credit. I'll say this dude from St. Louis
I'm from St. Louis.
But
working with AI.
Wrong end of the
wrong,
state.
wrong place. Not even right state.
No, it's the right state, wrong end.
Yeah, I knew. Well, I anyone from Missouri is from St. Louis. Sorry, no, I'm just kidding. What city are you in, bud?
I'm in Joplin. I am in the southwest corner of the state. I'm almost in Oklahoma.
Okay, cool.
Actually, I'm almost in Kansas, almost in Oklahoma, almost in Arkansas.
Okay.
So I don't know whether most of you heard, but Sarah is back home from the hospital.
Oh man, sorry about that, Sarah. You've got to put up with Justin now.
Yeah, well, she's got the whip out. She's teaching him his new moves.
Oh,
Right, Justin?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, after 3 days in hospital, she's eating him out of house and home.
Well, actually, she doesn't have much of an appetite because of that.
Well, maybe you should get good at cooking hospital food.
I'll buy her a Boston cream.
Or
Well, at least the kids are happy, and you're happy to have her home, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, the kids were happy until she started shouting at them because they were fighting yesterday. They can get away with it when it's just Daddy there because Daddy's always on YouTube.
Oh no, they don't get away with shit with me. I don't put up with that crap.
You kids get back in your closet. I'm doing a podcast. I guess it's not a podcast. It's a live stream, huh?
Mm.
I mean, really, what's the technical difference between a live stream and a podcast? Because I see
Oh,
people doing
podcast.
live
Podcast
streams.
is audio.
Yeah.
Well, I know that, but I see people doing podcasts or live streams on
Yep.
YouTube, and they're calling it podcast.
Yeah, Dre calls is a podcast.
I think
Yeah.
they call it a podcast mainly because it's focused on the audio of the situation and not the video.
It's like a video version of a radio show.
Well, that's called TV.
Whereas a live stream, a lot of times we share video and stuff, and a podcast you would never share video.
Right, that's true.
Did you see what Sarah put on there? She'd kill for a Boston cream.
Justin,
Is that
That's
Is
a
that a
hint
euphemism?
for Justin to go get his butt out here and get her a Boston cream.
Nope.
I thought
I told
she was
her
on a diet,
Nope, she's not allowed to have any of that
restricted
stuff.
diet.
She's mad at me because we went to her work to get breakfast, and I wouldn't let her get a cookie.
Oh,
She's all pissed off at me about it now.
I thought that diet was just while he thought she had something like a stomach infection.
No,
I thought now they'd figured out that it's the thyroid that she could eat again.
thyroid alters and adds and changes your chemical balance of your whole body, right?
I mean, yeah, it actually screws with a lot of shit in your body.
Because she had high blood pressure when she went in, right?
No, her blood pressure was fine.
No,
It was
she said
just-
it was through the roof.
No, it was her heart rate that was through the roof, not her blood pressure.
No, she said her blood pressure was 190 over something, over 100 or something.
I don't remember her saying that because when I went in there, she said that the doctor said all that stuff was fine. It was just her heart rate.
Yeah, I thought she said it was like a 90 over 140 or 160 or.
It might have been when she initially got in there, but she didn't have issues with that the whole time she was in there.
Okay.
Mm.
But that's the thing is like your blood pressure could be spiked for, they could do one test on it and it's showing that it's spiked, but then 10 minutes later you could do it and you'd be fine.
Yeah, all kinds of reasons.
Mm.
Like
Tension, worry.
I'm saying and doing one test isn't going to really tell you anything. If you're going to monitor, if you want to know if somebody has high blood pressure, you definitely want to monitor it over a course of a couple weeks, having them do it every hour or two,
Yeah,
give
they,
you a bit.
they wanted me to do that, but I can't find my bloody blood pressure machine. So they'll have to wait. But they checked my blood pressure in one arm, and then just to make sure they checked it in the other arm as well.
I say I've been to the doctors before and they took my blood pressure, showed it was high, and then 2 minutes later they did it again and it was fine.
Mm.
I,
just the tension involved in having your blood pressure taken can put your blood pressure up.
Sure.
But it gets me. I mean, back in the old days, they used to say that it should be like 100 plus your age, and then like between 70 and 90. But as years go by, now they expect it to be like, even when you're 60, they want it down to 120, 130, and down between 60 and 70.
Yep, that's true.
So my blood pressure should be 163, which it was, which they said it was a bit high. This is
I
not
have
for
no
me.
idea what my blood pressure is. I haven't measured it in years. I had great blood pressure when I was younger, but as I get older, I guess I shouldn't count on how healthy I was when I was younger.
Possibly not. Mm.
But I always like to follow the medical advice of if you don't think about it, nothing goes wrong.
Yeah. Don't think that works, but yeah, okay.
You know, the only time you find out you're sick is when you go to the doctor, so don't go to the doctor.
This is true. Yeah.
It's the best medical advice I ever heard, Donald.
Yeah. And the place you feel worse is in the hospital. You
I don't know much
I
about
only
causation
I only came in to visit somebody. I was fine before I got here.
sure as hell I'm not going to the maternity ward.
Don't start Paul off. Well, Laura answered me Facebook Messenger message to her. So.
Yeah, she answered me yesterday when I messaged her.
I don't know when she answered me. I just saw it this morning. Well, this afternoon. I
Right?
didn't see it this morning.
I just didn't want to bother her the first week or so because she said that she didn't want anybody messaging her and stuff. So I waited.
Actually, I had an early night last night. I went to bed after Bill the Drone Reviewer because Mikey didn't bother coming on. Mind you, he's in court tomorrow.
Well, from what he was saying, it sounds like he's okay. They're just, wrapping up the last little bit of that.
Yeah. Yeah, they just want him to take his part 107 so that he's forced to comply a bit more than he does.
That doesn't make you comply for sure.
No, it doesn't make it, but it means there are more things that can do him on if he doesn't.
Well, they pretty much have said that he has to get his 107 before he can post anything.
It
or do
also
anything.
gives him a bit more freedom in his flying, which makes a lot of the stuff that he does not illegal anymore.
Right, exactly.
I think the main difference between the recreational and Part 107 is the height that you can fly at. You're limited to 400 feet above the ground with recreational, and with 107, it's 400 feet above the highest building.
Well, not only that is just you can get certain waivers and different things like that that I don't think you can get as a recreational. So I
Mm.
said, I hope it works out for him. I said, I never, as pissed as he got at me that one day, I never had nothing against him. I always thought he was a cool dude himself. I just didn't agree with
Yeah,
what
he's
he
been
did.
through a lot, really, hasn't he? So,
Who are we talking about?
Philly Mike.
Oh, Philly.
He's got his last court session tomorrow. But he didn't do a live stream yesterday.
Yes.
And I should imagine that there are a few comments in the chat about it. And I can't read them without putting my magnifying glass in front of my head. So.
Who's his fictitious sidekick? Stewie or something?
Yeah. Yep, Stewie. He was nowhere near as bad as his two current sidekicks.
I'm not entirely sure, Dre. Mark said he's going back to court. I don't know. I haven't been really paying attention to that the last month or so.
Yeah, it's his last court session, supposedly, tomorrow.
Yeah, it's probably just a wrap up, final wrap up of whatever they. Because apparently they're not going to fine him all that money. They just told him, you need to get a 107 before you post anything. So, and that his channels, that's his whole life. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he'll end up getting a 107 pretty quickly. Or he'll end up, because he kept saying he was going to go to a different hobby, but I don't think he's going to.
Yeah, he was thinking about like just doing vlogging around the town and perhaps remote control cars, but he's a drone flyer. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
And that's true, Jonathan. FPV pilots do post videos all the time without spotters. Nobody says anything.
No. Yeah, they didn't say that he couldn't post things. They just said that he can't post any drone stuff.
Yeah, he can have
on his channel until he's got a 107 because it's classed as earnings.
Right, he can have a live stream and all that and show
they're
drone
very
footage.
They're very strict about making money flying drones. You're either a 107, which means you can make money doing it, or if you're just a regular everyday flyer, you cannot accept a dime for it.
Yeah, but the trouble is that they're now trying to make sure that they bring in YouTube revenue as classed as earnings.
Yes, oh yeah, definitely. Anytime you got anything in your pocket, whether matter how you get it, you got to be a commercial pilot. Because then the IRS wants their cut.
That is true.
Fucking IRS.
If the government can print any money they want for any reason they want,
yep.
Why are they taxing us?
Yeah. If you want my income tax, just print a bit of extra money out.
Well, the problem with that is when they do that,
evaluation.
The tax is a true flat tax and it hits everybody equally. so they can't use the taxation to control and influence public behavior.
Well, our tax over here, income tax, is a flat tax. Once you go above a certain figure, you get taxed at 20% on anything over that figure. And then there is a second band which is way higher. I think it's about 60,000 or something. The first one's only like 14, nearly 15,000. Anything under that, you don't get taxed. Anything above that, you get taxed at 20% up to about 50 odd thousand. And then anything above 50,000, you get taxed at 40%.
Dre, you're right. However, what the government is using, the fact that he's not a 107 and making money from flying, that's their hook. Yeah, they didn't like the way he was flying, but their hook was he's financially profiting from his flights and postings.
Yep. Dre's right. Compliance was always the
Yeah.
goal.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because you know, if that would have been any of the other alphabet agencies, they'd have nailed his ass to the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, hard. Like I said, out of all the different agencies there are, government agencies, what they call alphabet agencies, I would say the FAA is probably the most lenient that I've seen. Because goddamn, if you owed IRS 180 grand, they'd be taking everything from you.
Yeah, and
You
if you
best-
did any infringements against the FCC, they'd screw you as well.
Yeah, you go to the IRS and say, "Oh, I don't want to pay that 180,000." They'd be like, "Fuck you." They wouldn't give a shit if you could afford it or not. They'd find some way to get their pound of flesh off you. I do give that to the FAA. They are a lot more lenient than other government agencies.
It's never gonna stop him from calling them, but that's just him, innit? That's who he is.
Well, he needs to not play into that neither, though. He
Mm.
needs to stop bringing up trolls and all this. Because the thing is, especially people that are trolling on the internet, when you give them fire back, they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah,
If
to
you
be honest,
ignore them,
the one thing he really wants to do now is to not have Bruce on his live streams, to be honest. Because Bruce likes to cause trouble.
yeah. But if the FAA has any, well, say common sense, being a government agency, they wouldn't care what Bruce had to say because he doesn't live here.
No, I know.
I don't think they really give a shit about him, to be honest with you.
I mean, he's
Although-
clever and he knows what he's talking about, but he shouldn't really be interfering.
No.
Hey guys, I gotta go. I've got a meeting. You guys have a great day.
Okay, Lance, you too.
But if I was him, I just wouldn't feed into the internet trolling. Just leave it alone. Don't even talk about it.
Yeah.
Because then you don't give them any fire. Like whenever somebody does something, just don't even mention it. Because then when they realize it's not getting under your skin, they're going to get bored with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If somebody goes to his channel and trolls him and he keeps bringing it up, they're going to keep doing it because they're getting under his skin. They're doing exactly what they're on the internet to do.
Here
Well,
comes Trey.
Charged my Tello battery up and I've charged that remote control unit up and it all lights up when it's switched on. So
I think, like I said, I think he'd be better just not saying shit. Leave it alone.
that control unit is Bluetooth, isn't it? So it attaches to the phone, and then the phone still controls the tello.
What's up, Dre?
Will that, because they're using a kind of a gaming controller, will that also attach Bluetooth to a computer to allow you to use it playing games?
Yeah, you should be able to, yeah. As long as it's got the game, it should have the same, well, it depends. Does it have different profiles? Because some older games use a different mapping profile, some newer games use a different one. Like I have my controllers all have 3 profiles on them, so I can switch them depending on the game.
I really couldn't tell you that, not without
I mean,
researching.
the only thing you could do is hook it up to a computer and try it and see what it does.
Yeah. Well, it'll connect Bluetooth according to what's it, because that's the way it connects to your phone when you're controlling the tello.
Because that was the issue Kelsey was having the other day with her controller. She held down the home button and changed the mapping profile, and it wasn't working for Fortnite. I had to go back and switch it. She
Alright.
didn't know. She didn't realize what she did, and that was
It's got a lot of stuff on it. It's got the 4 buttons on the left. It's got the 4 buttons on the right. It's got 2 paddles on the top.
Trey fell back out. He must still be down in San Diego because he was looked like he was in his hotel room.
Yeah, I don't know whether he was supposed to be coming home today or whether, I don't know how long the expo lasts. I think it was 3 days, but I don't know when it started. So, but he put a post up yesterday, a video of it, which I've not watched yet, but I will do. Someone's concentrating intensely there.
Donald, you're muted,
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I was on a phone call with a client.
Yeah.
The client I was working with today was that I was working on doing those changes for. They decided to bite the bullet and actually just shoot a new commercial. So
Well, that's more money for you, isn't it?
a little bit.
But knowing you, you're still going to have a go at doing the other thing just to see if you can do it, aren't you?
Are you looking over my shoulder? No, I've already cleaned up the audio and it's actually usable. So pretty impressive. I'm gonna still jump in with After Effects and see what I can do about the ending. Because I think we're going to just reshoot the opening today. I think the middle part, because doing the opening during the middle part involves getting other people in there. So I think we're going to leave that.
Justin, are you still with us?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So not a completely new advert, but a rehash.
Yes. Which I might just go ahead and recut the ending as well, because he's in a picture-in-picture there, but I can go ahead and bring him on just a little bit earlier. Yeah, I think I'm going to. Cool. Just have him redo all of it.
And I thought Dre was gonna join us, but he didn't make it in, so.
Mm.
I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
there's Dre.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good, good. How you guys doing this morning?
Hi,
Another
Dre.
day, another day in paradise.
I see. I saw you were having some problems with the ship earlier.
Well, yeah, because of the wind.
What happens when you're flying 40 mile sustained winds?
Yeah, that'll kind of put a damper on things.
Mm.
Actually, what was the sustained wind, Paul? On that,
At 40 to 42.
Hmm,
that was sustained or gust?
Gusts up to 45. 38 to 42 is the sustained.
wow.
Yeah, you were pushing that drone to its limits, Paul.
It did a good job though.
Yeah, but
That's pretty much the same top speed that it's got.
Oh yeah.
So flying against that wind, it will be actually going nowhere.
yeah, and again, top speed sideways is going to be different than top speed
Oh
going
yeah.
forward.
Side and that's the thing is when I went up and I was making some headway out in on the north side of the bridge heading out to the lake, and then when I spun it sideways to get in front of it is when it stopped and slowed down, and then it I kind of started gaining a little bit, but I didn't, and
I thought they had the same top speed in all directions, apart from
I
up and
don't think
down.
so.
I don't know about that.
Because of prop wash, isn't it? Sideways, Dre, you might know.
What's that?
Does a drone even have a top speed going forward of 40, and if you turn it sideways, will it still do 40 or does it do less?
I have to look at the specs. I'm telling you, I don't think they even tell you in the specs.
No, they don't tell you
Because-
about
Because I'm wondering about the
Lateral
max
movement.
the max angle on that lateral movement. I think
Right.
might be less than the forward. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought so because all the props work in the same manner.
I guess so.
Okay, let me get my camera straightened out here. I'm not having the right camera on.
And you might be right, Mike or Mark.
Here we go.
Again, you might be right that for props they go all directions. It doesn't matter. But then again, you'd be going broadside to the wind, so you'd have that much more wind resistance going sideways.
Possibly with it being slightly wider than or longer than
But
wide.
as far as the attack angle on that,
Mm.
I don't know. I guess maybe it wouldn't make a difference.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, just
Yep.
want to make sure.
How many more days have you got of the expo, Dre?
Oh, we're leaving this morning. We're gonna head back home. And then I need to take care of stuff. My oldest has been driving my car because his car's been laid up. So he called me last night, got a flat my car, and he couldn't get all the lugs off because I guess the last time I had the tires changed, the shop torqued them down too far. So when he tried to remove with the lugs, they stripped the bar.
God.
I gotta get home and figure out what's going on with that.
Piece of scaffolding tube on your what's it? Give you more leverage.
Well, not that. Once the socket gets rounded, it's no good. The socket itself is considered to be stripped at that, so you don't have nothing to grip onto. It's gonna, no matter how much leverage you get and torque you can apply, once the socket itself is rounded, it's virtually useless.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
So
no,
they rounded off the lug nut.
Most likely he probably rounded off the socket that he was using, because he even stopped by. He couldn't get it off with the regular bar that comes in the car. So he stopped at AutoZone and got another socket, and that he couldn't get it off with that.
Nope. If
It
he's an
broke it down
AutoZone,
too hard.
they
Yeah.
the
those guys
socket.
at AutoZone probably had a cordless impact that they could have hit
Yeah.
it with.
Yeah, they could have. But like I said, he was at the time he had left his office to go drop off a package at UPS, and that's when he noticed the tire was flat, and he was going to put the spare on, and he got like 3 of the lugs off, and then couldn't get his other one off.
Mm.
It's never a good idea
I-
to.
And I had the same thing happen to me on the back rear when I had a nail in the tire. So I know exactly what he's going through. And I had a 4-way lug nut remover, bar and everything else. And I had to take it down to a shop, put all the lugs back on, take it down to the shop, and had these guys say, "Hey, dude." And the guy took a socket, had to hammer it on. Is the one that's a little too small, hammer it on there and be able to get it off with the impact wrench.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like a rounded.
Yeah,
lug
it could
nut.
be a rounded lug, but I know it rounded out
Well,
my
normally
4-way.
normally your bar, it rounded out your 4-way. That's amazing. Normally your
Yeah.
tire irons are harder steel than the lug nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to
They're-
round one of those off is
They only have the 6 sides to fit around the nut, whereas a socket has like 30 different positions you can put it in.
uh-huh.
They're a lot smaller and they do strip easier.
Yeah, the 30 ones, they strip easier by far.
Mm-hmm. So
6-sided ones
like I
don't
said,
strip as
I'll
bad.
see when I get home, and to get it taken care of. So the big thing was, he had to get the car towed all the way back home, which is about his office is about 20-something miles away.
Dang.
So he had to get it towed.
This is where it stalled, right there.
Yeah, I saw that earlier when you were talking about it, and I saw where you turned forward to try to get a lead on it, and
Get
you couldn't
ahead of
even
it,
get a
yep.
lead.
And
Yeah.
you can see it starts struggling right past the bridge. I think that turbulence of that
Mhm.
wind, like me and Mark were talking about.
And then here's where I try to turn
Was letting
sideways
him
to get
cut
around in
through.
front of it.
But once it gets into open water with that
It
open
stalls.
sustained wind against them,
Well,
Mm.
this is at the point where you needed to look down at your controller and look at the telemetry and find out how fast your drone was flying at any given point, and that would let you know that it was a wind issue. Because if you're flying at max speed and you're not gaining on the ship, the ship's not running, turn that many knots.
Well, he's
Yeah,
doing about 9 knots upstream.
Yeah, 9 knots. So I mean, we know 9 knots compared to what's the Air 2S fly at, about what, 35?
Yeah.
You should be able to run circles around that ship.
Mm.
At this point, I'm starting to get over over the Canadian shoreline.
Right.
And
Oh,
so I
so-
decide
Dre, look at those flags back
get ahead
behind
of it
there.
at this point. So I'm gonna spin around and try and do like you said, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can get out ahead of it. So I'm
Right.
fast forward as fast as I can go.
Mm.
look at those waves. It's just a nice steady.
Yeah. Well, you see the white caps in the water.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You got some pretty good wind even at that lower altitude, because you see the white caps in the water.
Well, when he spins back around, take a look at the flags in the background.
Yeah, those are 40-foot flags.
Those things are not dropping or anything. They're straight out. That's a
Yeah.
sustained.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Look at the ones on top of the boat
up
there.
here, they're really just a popping, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Where's
But
that
the
ship
ones
out
on the
of, Paul?
shore,
Madeira, where is that?
Alicia G,
Spain.
Spain. Yeah.
But I tell you what, I still enjoy the Air 2S because it, for being a little drone, it sure does what I ask it to do. But I kind of was figuring, well, maybe this is a little bit too windy, and yes, it was.
Yeah.
But I don't even think the Inspire would have handled that, would it?
Well, I think the problem with the Inspire would have been you wouldn't have had enough time.
Yep.
That would be your problem there, is the amount of battery life you would have needed. I mean, it would, I think it might have made it, but the amount of time it would have took to make the complete
Would have
orbit
sucked the
around the
battery
ship.
down pretty fast.
Yeah.
Getting into
Yeah, that's
that.
what I'm
I was
saying.
gonna
You
say
had to
that
use-
wind is gonna drop your battery time in half.
Yeah. That's why I was getting at, the battery time, the amount you to fight that wind and even do a complete orbit, you'd have been struggling to get it back.
Sorry, not Spain, Portugal, the next country
Uh,
along.
Dre, I don't know if you've ever watched any of Paul's videos, but under ideal conditions, he struggles to get them back.
That's my buddy Don said that.
Yep.
I think the one that pissed me off the most, Dre, was when I hit that wire over the Black River. It landed on an ice flow, and there was
Yeah.
not a damn thing I could do about it.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well,
I could see it sitting on top of the ice flow upside down with the strobe light going on it.
Mm-hmm.
well, like
Yeah.
I said, if you ever notice, Paul has always lost his drones when he went out to go take a shot, messed up, and then he was like, let me go out for a second time.
Yeah.
And seriously, if you go back and look at all three crashes, the second time he decided to go out is when he lost the drone.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I told him, I said, next time you forget to record, just be like, all right, I done it. I'm going home. Just call it a day.
Well, I know it's not DJI, but did you see that the TikTok man has made another step towards passing?
Oh, it's passed. I was waiting for Biden to sign it. And he's
Yeah.
Oh, I
gonna
thought it
sign
was going back. I thought it had to go back to the House. The Senate
No.
passed it, and it goes back to the House for final
No.
revisions.
If a bill starts in the House and goes Senate, then it goes to the president's desk. If it
But
starts in
they
the
made
Senate,
changes in the Senate. It has to go back to the House.
They did
if they
make
made
changes.
changes, if the
I thought they
Senate made
did.
changes, but they didn't make any changes. They didn't make any changes, and so it goes straight to the president
Oh,
to sign.
okay. I thought they did. So, okay.
Well, all the
Yeah.
Chinese shit is the only thing that they're actually agreeing on
Mhm.
both sides.
And so that tells me, that raises flags about buying a drone
Well,
or
that's
buying a
my whole
DJI.
point. That was my whole point. I said this current form of the CCP Act may not pass, but doesn't mean it can't get slid in somewhere else
Mhm.
under
Oh, yeah.
another name. And that's why I tell people you just can't ignore it, because all the politicians are basically are being non-committal. Because
Well,
like
that's
this
what-
one right here.
Well, and they're also legislating well, I guess they've got some knowledge, but a lot of it is just about, okay, does it have this label on it? Okay, bad.
Yeah.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
like Dre made a good point the other day. We don't know everything that they know. Like, just because they tell us one thing, don't mean that there's not some kind of security threat that they know about we don't know about.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
I mean,
well,
it's
like
it's
this
hard
current-
to say.
This current bill here is people are not focusing on the TikTok ban. They're focusing on this foreign aid package that they need to get to Ukraine and Taiwan and Israel. So
Right.
anything else that gets shoved in there is just, like I said, that's just decorations on the outside, So that's why I tell people, I said, they can still slide in stuff. I guess somebody said last night I think on what's his name, Bill Review Show, that Stefanik is trying to introduce another bill. But this one is not as restrictive as the first one.
The
So
worst
this is what I'm
thing
saying.
that was ever created is the omnibus bills.
Yeah,
Let's go ahead and just package all of our pet projects in here and
yeah. And this current one, she says she wants to take out the restrictions against, first responders and stuff, because she knew the current one and looking at the states, and there's, like I say, there's a big outcry from first responders about the equipment they're using right now and how essential it has become in their daily operations. So now she's trying to make one that will exempt all first responders, things like that, out front, but it still may have consequences against others. Like I said, I was at the show yesterday. The full expo was open yesterday, and I talked to a group from the state of Texas, the Texas Department of Public Safety. They're not real concerned. They say Governor Abbott is on their side no matter what happens at the federal level. And they run, not to show they're all great knowledge, but they have DJI, they have Autel drones, and they said they're prepared to go whatever direction they need to go. They're not really concerned. The thing is here, as long as they have access to drones altogether, is their concern. And they had the Azul was there. Drone Nerds had the Azul there on display. There's tons of company that, like, there's some stuff there, man, that, like I said, I feel like Nicolas Cage in the movie God of War. There's stuff there, man, that almost rivals the size of a Predator, sitting there with foldable wings and all kind of stuff, man. And this one company in Turkey had this, what I call a supersized base station. This stuff is almost like an AWACS station on the ground and stuff. It can track multiple targets, multiple drones, everything, and communicate. Handles satellite phone communication, like everything you would need if everything got destroyed, all your infrastructure got destroyed. This base unit could do that, handle all your electronic communication systems and stuff. And there's a company there that does vehicles or portable trailer outfittings for emergency response, drone emergency response, called Draxon and stuff. Whatever you want in a van or a trailer or even a portable case, they'll put together for you.
Have you seen anything else coming out of Japan besides that one
But they
drone?
had there was the AS, whatever they are company. They had a Sotum. The Sotum was there. They had that hovering around. It's a lot. Like I said, the reason I want to go there is actually see these things and actually get an idea. The Sotum is a pretty big drone. It's about the size in between a Mavic 3 and an M30. It's in between there. It's a little bit bigger than a Mavic 3, but not as big as an M30. So it's a pretty decent sized drone itself that sold them from Japan. They had their people there. But like I said, there's some stuff there, man. It's just like, yeah, this is pretty wild. A lot of companies, like I said, a lot of communication companies were there and stuff, hawking their communication system. There's one, it was kind of funny because I don't know if you guys ever watched the drone show, the guy named Gary Mortimer out of South Africa. I was at one booth called Cube Pilot. I guess they make these chipsets for FPVs and things of that nature. And they had this picture. I was interviewing the lady and I see Gary's picture show up in the background. And I asked the lady, I said, what is his picture? What is the relationship? That to say, when I got home, his show was on yesterday. And I said, you was photobombing my interview, dude. With your likeness on the screen. And he just kind of laughed. So I met John McBride there. Vic Moss was there. I had a new thing on the Pocket 3 where you can go back and delete clips. Well, I hit it one too many times after I interviewed Vic Moss and deleted his interview. So that kind of ticked me off.
that sucks.
Yeah, that kind of ticked me off. But I interviewed mostly everybody else.
That's a thing I've done in the past, like on an actual shoot with the camera. It's like I need more space. That's why, it's cheaper to buy an extra SD card, but you can't really do that on Pocket. But
Yeah.
Or can you? Pocket doesn't have external storage, does it?
Yeah, you can put an SD card in it.
Westfield
Okay,
Soil
yeah.
Association.
Get extra SD cards. Don't ever try and edit in the field or delete in the field because you're
But
gonna.
Like I said, I just hit it by accident.
Right.
I caught myself trying to stop it and double tapped it, and I saw a little symbol said, the little trash can show up. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man.
Okay.
See, at that point, if you swap out and put the card in your computer, you
Yeah.
still might have that trash folder within
Mhm.
and be able to recover that clip
Yeah.
if it hasn't been overwritten.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I was just hoping then because I
Oh.
knew I did something, and I
I've
didn't
been
know if
there.
I had stopped it and started and then trashed that little small bit in between, which I was hoping for.
I've
then
been there where you go on a shoot and you're all excited and you forget to delete all the previous day's shoots and stuff on this
Mhm.
card, and so you start shooting and realize I'm out of space. So you start
well,
going
I
through
made
and
sure
having to
that's-
delete.
Yeah, I made sure. I think I have a 256 in this Pocket 3. I think it's 250. I know it's at least a 128 or 256 in there. So I know I had enough room. Like I said, when you're shooting video 4K, that stuff gets eaten up
Oh,
real
yeah.
fast. and
Yes.
stuff. So I try to keep all my interviews down to about no more than 2 minutes. So I knew I wouldn't take up a lot of space. So speak of, but yeah, it was good. Like I said, I had McBride, I had the guys from Texas, Drone Nerds, I had a guy from Steel City Drones, Dave. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen his videos. He does pretty good videos comparing equipment from Steel City Drones. I got a good interview from him. And I think it's about a couple other folks that have booths there that I let them talk about their products and stuff. But there are people from all over the country. I mean, all over the world, not this country, all over the world were there. There were several Chinese companies there which are located down the street from DJI, but DJI was not there themselves. And I don't know, I've heard that this company, AUSIU, whatever it is, they got some kind of beef with DJI.
What's up, Michael?
So they were not, DJI was not there. But like I say, Skydia wasn't there either, or I didn't see, was it, what's the other one? Teal. I didn't see Teal wasn't there, which is supposed to be another American drone manufacturer. Drone Nerds had the Parrot there. They had everybody there. They had DJI equipment. They had Parrot. They had the Ansul equipment. They had a Nafi
What's up, Al?
stuff. They had a little bit of everybody. Sony was there with the Air Peak, but they were more focusing on their cameras than they were on the Air Peak. So that was all interesting. They even had some watercrafts there. So if you guys get a chance, check out the video. It's about 20 minutes long, and it's mainly just small clips of interviews from people that were there and everything. I met another guy by the name of Patrick Egan. Egan was there. I think Cool Cat knows who Patrick is. He usually comes on Gary's show also. Even though he's from America, he usually pops in on Gary's show.
Patrick.
Yeah.
Patrick, yeah.
What's going on, Al?
So Dre, you think that bill's just for the DJI, or let's say just Chinese drones? Everybody keeps calling it the DJI bill.
Like I say,
Do you
if it
think it's
gets
just a
to-
matter of when?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of when and then what version of it will get actually passed through. Because that bill has been around since over a year ago now. It came out actually February of 2023. So it's gone through a lot. And like I say, when they want to pass something, they do it in weeks.
They're persistent. If it doesn't
Right.
get passed, it's
They're-
coming back.
they're
If it doesn't get
persistent,
passed,
right.
it's coming back. It's coming back. It's coming back until they get what they want.
Right. So this dragging on for over a year, it's gonna have to come back in a different form.
I'm really interested in the Anzus.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
Time to Fly said there. Yeah. I mean, you're looking at, since they're licensing,
Now, do you think that's
They're-
covered in the bill, the licensing thing?
Uh,
It shouldn't be.
it's
It depends on
there's
how they
no-
want to say it
There's
benefits.
no language talking about licensing, but the only thing that may trip people up is the internal parts, because that is in the bill current form, that any parts, manufacturing of parts, things of that nature will still be able to have those drones banned,
No,
which
no, I'm assuming if they're able to license the right to build the parts themselves, and just like carbon copy them
right.
in
Yeah,
Malaysia, then
then you're
they
good.
should be okay, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing is the software.
Yep. And
If the
Andrew has
software-
all new software.
Yeah, if the software is US based software, the hardware is no big deal.
Mhm.
It's basically the software which would actually triggers the hardware to function any way they
That's
want
what
to
I've been
function.
saying for a long time. It's the software that they're bitching
Yeah.
Yeah, and they look like Kermit the Frog. So what's not to like?
about.
Maybe not Kermit the Frog. John Deere.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I would stick. If I had one, that's the first thing I'd do is stick a John Deere sticker on it.
And then you get a hold of the
Put a
Russian
John Deere
hackers
sticker.
so you can hack it. It's like the John Deeres.
Yep.
That's so funny that these farmers are having to get their hacks from fucking Russia.
That would do that. Okay. But I mean, it was a good experience. That's the first large show that I've been to. I went to one last summer at in Orange County at Fullerton College. So it was a lot smaller, hardly nothing compared to this size. So that's why I wanted to gain the experience of going to one of these things. So when I go to another one, I will have a little more insight, and also feel like if I need to pay more money to get more access or whatever, because these things are not cheap. I had the hall pass that I had was about the cheapest thing, which is still, I was like $160 for exhibit hall pass. Other than that, you're talking about close to $1,000 to get access or be able to sit in on a conference presentation or whatever, things of that nature. And I'm like, hey, I don't even know these people, don't know exactly what they're going to be talking about, so I don't see myself spending or wasting that kind of money on something I probably want to walk out of 10 to 15 minutes into it. So it gives you that experience and stuff, but it was well organized as far as, these people put on a nice expo and stuff. For years, I've always wanted to go to a CES event, even before I got into drones, because CES was all about the audio, which I was into before, at home theater. That's all I knew about CES in the past. So that's always been like one of my, on my bucket list to go to CES one of these years.
Don't
And
you have
now
to
they-
get an invite to it?
This year, actually, I got an invite to this, and that's what kind of, piqued my interest. Hey, they sent me an email, so let me check it out and stuff. CES, I guess once you are affiliated or on somebody's list, then you may get an invite down the road.
Yeah, because I always
Maybe.
heard that you had to get an invite to that one in order to get in.
No, well, it's an invite for you to. It's like anything, it's like a sales pitch invite. They're not giving out no free passes.
Right.
They're just letting you know, hey, we're putting on this event, blah, blah, blah. This is the event structure. These are the, already committed exhibitors and speakers and all this kind of stuff.
And there's a charge for that, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Paul. That's why I've got to get Paul. And here is the list of pay chart of what events you can participate in at your level of pay.
Collect them, yeah.
Because basically what they're trying to do is like my big thing was, do you want to be an exhibitor? I'm like, dude, I'm just a small time one guy operation. What am I going to exhibit? I was doing what I would normally do. I'm walking around passing out my business cards and everything. Morning, everybody I talked to, they gave me their cards and I gave them my cards.
Yep. Business cards are the dog sniffing equivalent for humans.
Yeah. Yep.
Sniff,
I
sniff
actually
my
had to
butt.
sit
I'll
down.
sniff your butt. Here, sniff butts.
Yeah. So I had a chance to sit down with Esri, which is a mapping company, close by where I live at, they could not, they wouldn't, not that they were against me videotaping them, but they were not allowed to be videotaped. Because I said, Esri, because they are global, they work with all parties, they could not make any comments that could be construed. If somebody clipped off my stuff, they don't want nothing to go out that could be construed as them being biased or favor to anybody else's equipment. They were not allowed to be videotaped.
Oops, sorry.
So they were the
Michael,
only ones that were reluctant or were not able to allow me to videotape them when I interviewed them.
Cool Cat, you know you're on the panel, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Do you know what? I'd forgotten that a little while. I've been sat here typing with my microphone on. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I just figured
Thank
he
you.
was typing because he didn't want to interrupt Dre.
There was that as well, actually.
I figured it was.
But I forgot very quickly that I was on the panel.
Yes, he was being overly polite. Yes.
I don't think it's possible.
Yeah. So and like I say, if you got the little hall pass, like let me show you mine. This is the hall pass there, and they got your QR code, which has all your information on there, because they always giving out drawings for to speak of.
Put that back up. Does it got your credit card info on it?
No, not quite. Didn't get that. But there's a few booths that were want to scan your past thing so that you can enter into their drawing and everything else. So
Did it have your YouTube channel and all that stuff on it?
yeah, YouTube
Oh,
channel,
that's
email, and that's why I said that's why I have multiple emails. So for this event, I use my business email, recovery1drones@gmail.com.
Was it crowded?
Oh yeah. Like I say, you see the video, Paul, you'll see when they open the doors to the hall and you see me hold my camera up and all these people are almost like, it's like going to a theme park event.
Like cattle.
Yeah. Quite the crowd.
Now, is it just a one-day event or was it a weekend?
Well, it's a number of things going on. Like I said, it depends upon what you're there for. If you buy like a VIP package thing, which is over $1,000, you could go up to the upper level of the convention center here in San Diego, and they had like talk sessions from different people, presenters. But the main hall didn't open till Tuesday. I kind of snuck in Monday when they were pre-setting up and got saw a couple of things that were already there. Got one interview from a guy with the big base station thing there, and then Tuesday was the big exhibit hall. So yeah, it's depending on what day things are going on. They have a big schedule of each day, what events at what time. They had like what we call after parties, things that happen later in the day, event gathering, VIP stuff. They even had demonstrations that were supposed to take place later in the day. Now, I don't know if Al is still here or not. San Diego is a hard place to fly. I remember Vic Moss said he was bringing drones, and I'm thinking, dude, where are you gonna fly at? Because where I'm at is zero grid. Where the convention center is at is only 100 feet. And then because you got not just the San Diego airport here, you have military installations down here. So they're overlapping airspace here to where you have to jump through a few hoops to really fly. You just can't use Lance by itself to get access, because what you might think is a Lance 50 feet, 100 feet, may be a zero grid of another facility that overlaps. And I say GGI is not going to let you fly. So it's quite a bit of a challenge. That's why I say when Al had to come down here for a job, that's why I was pushing him. I said, go ahead and submit it, and make sure you submit it for the various levels of airspace that you'll come across, and the job he had to do down here, and he got approved. So it's not impossible, but it's not going to be you just show up and think you're going to use Lance down here to get approval. you have to go through the drone zone and get FAA approval because you have to go through a couple of different airspaces from different facilities. As far as the San Diego Airport, it may be out of North Island Military Airspace. I don't know if Camp Pendleton comes down this far, but there's several other different places that you have to jump through a few hoops. A lot of it overlaps. It's not separated. It overlaps. So, yeah. That's the whole thing. And like I said, I've met a few people. Like I said, I met a guy out of LA area. You know, he's just like me, single operator. You know, he's one of the first people I interviewed outside where we're waiting for the doors to open. And he's done some stuff in Hollywood and a few other jobs and everything. He's talking about that strike. That strike really hurt him, Don. The motion picture people, they were on strike last year, really hurt him, he said, and is still slowly trying to get back on his feet. He said that was pretty much his bread and butter work.
Oh yeah, everything shuts down.
Yeah, everything shut down. He said, and it's still slowly trying to get back to where it was before and stuff. Production work, I guess the term he used, production work. Hey, Al, have a good day.
Comes by Meals on Wheels.
Lovely.
Like I said, I had planned on going to the one in Vegas in September, but the Vegas meetup is going on just like barely a month away, the first weekend or second weekend in November. So I'm gonna miss that one in September and go to the Vegas meetup in November. Yeah, come drive on out there, Don.
Yeah.
Vegas in November. Can't beat that, dude.
Yeah, unfortunately. I have to make money to justify being able to take personal time.
You got what's this? April coming up on May, so you got about 5-6 months to make that money.
Yeah. I wish I could get to my former paycheck level.
Yeah.
You know, losing that steady job and then having to try and do it yourself.
I hear you.
Yeah,
That's a pay cut.
I hear you.
I'm about ready to. I keep on toying with hanging it up.
So we all.
I enjoy the work, but if there's not enough of it to keep food on the table.
I hear you. We all can't be as fortunate as Justin and be part of the furniture empire.
I wish.
What on earth is that, Michael?
That's a glider.
So when you are
No, I've just got invitation to take notes. Michael
that is
Thompson
his.
wants you to
He sent that
collaborate.
earlier, and that is just talking about air, like how strong the wind is, how to tell.
Okay, I must have missed a
Yeah, you got to remember that when I'm.
It was when we were talking about Paul flying.
Oh, I thought you were talking about his avatar. I said it looked like a glider to me.
Yeah, it's fine. I think it's an SK-21 maybe. Yeah, so I remember when Dre was talking about the wind, and he alluded to some information that seamen use to estimate the wind. You know, when you have the tops of waves getting
Yeah, the
knocked
white
off
caps
and
of the
whatnot.
wave.
There you go, white caps of the wave. I think it's like 8 knots or something. But anyway, I wrote down all the rest of them, you know. I thought maybe it was interesting.
Yeah, cool cat. I may not know all the mathematical formulas, but I did pay
Me
attention
neither.
enough in class. Say when you see the white caps of waves, stay out the water
There you go, yeah.
because
Yeah.
you won't be able to. You can't outswim the current when you see that.
Right. See, I couldn't remember what they were, so I had to look them up. And once I'd looked them up, I thought I might as well share these with everyone. So I put them in the notes. The thing is, Mark, as well, when I'm using Zoom, because I'm I'm not very familiar with it, and it's kind of awkward for me. You know, I could put it anywhere. I think I put it in the notes, or let's say I bring something up on the screen. I'm not entirely convinced that I'm not bringing that up on everyone's screen or something. So I have to
He
kind of be
even
careful.
he even emailed it to one of his cousins.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. I dare say.
Cool, Cat. I sent you an email.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you, buddy.
like I said in the first video, on the first day, you know, if one of these shows like this come close to your area, you know, take the time to go visit, you know.
Oh yeah.
I say just get a hall pass like I did. You know, it's a little bit of money, but it's something that opens your eyes to how big this industry really is. You know, it may not be on our level as far as, you know, end users, hobbyists, or like me, you know, sole operators, things of that nature, but it lets you know that there is a large section of this industry that drones and drone related equipment is being developed across the planet.
You see, and that's the thing. I come to drones. It's a tool to get a shot. I come to it as a videographer, which is a
Yeah.
completely different direction as the way you came to it, Dre. And
Oh,
so,
Corey.
you see it as a tool for your construction
Right.
work, and you see it as that kind of tool. And it's like, even though we share some of the skills as far as the drone, we are looking at it with with different skills surrounding it.
Right.
And so, yeah, the industry, yeah, it's really big and huge
Mm-hmm.
in this one little isolated set of core skills, but it's different skills in all those other areas. And it's like, how do you transition from, just because you have that one little core set of skills drone flying,
Right.
doesn't mean that you have the other skills to transition through the
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. But like I said, I was just really interested in, I mean, everything you can think of as far as motor design. Like I said, Sony was there. They were really pushing the camera system as far as regular cameras, but then they also had the Air Peak sitting right next to them, you know, so they were really pushing that.
That's a
going
good, that's a good looking platform
Yeah,
as
Yeah.
far as getting film or-
right, right.
or
But,
video.
but like I said, you look at some of these things and I'm like, man, I mean, things that you could buy as a private citizen if you had that kind of money that is up there to where you would launch one of these things if you had that kind of money, as far as you had a compound and you would launch this thing almost the same size as a Predator to do the surveillance of your property. I saw that one
What's up,
thing that was
Jim?
shaped like a stealth bomber. I'm like, holy
Hey, Jim.
smokes, dude.
Oh, it kind of looked like the RQ-170 Sentinel, the one the Navy had. Kind of looked like a mini stealth bomber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and right at the nose area, it's got this you know, camera system that I didn't get a chance to talk to the guy, but I imagine it's probably got, you know, sophisticated camera system that can, like, say, you know, read license plates at about, you know, 3-4, I mean, probably higher
Yeah,
than 400
probably.
feet up and everything. So it ain't gonna miss nothing. And thermal is just as like you know, everyday thing. Those people at that expo yesterday, thermal's like a given now. Everybody's got thermal. It's not just unique. And that's why I made a comment about, you know, what we see win on Sundays is in the driveway on Mondays. So like I say, as us as end users, we're still oohing and ahhing about thermal and everything. These guys treat it as, oh, that's 5-6 years ago tech, you know? So it's interesting. Very interesting.
Was DJI there, Dre?
No, DJI was not there, but there were other Chinese companies there. I've heard the rumors, or should have been from other people, that this group, let me see, what's their name?
That's funny.
The host company here. I've got it on something. I got threw that paper away. But whoever sponsored this, I don't know, they had a falling out with DJI, whatever, but they've been labeled as being anti-DJI and stuff. But basically, some people even said they're anti-Chinese drone, but there were several Chinese drone companies there making different things. A lot of them didn't have actual drones, but they made, like say, motors. They made other equipments that you would buy from them to make a drone. And like I said, there were other companies, like say the Japanese company was there with the Sodom, everything else. So, like I say, you got this right here kind of opens your eyes to see the extensive nature of the industry and all and I would say what I saw yesterday might have been just a thumbprint of the number of players in the game.
And it shows you how small your little corner is.
Right. So,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying, that, there are just so many companies out there that, that is way beyond what we talk about.
Oh,
in our
sure.
little live, drone shows and live streams or whatever.
I was gonna
else.
say, I was gonna ask if they had any drone show type.
Oh, drones were for the light shows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw two companies out there with that, and I actually saw the drones. These are way beyond I remember listening to Steven,
Mm.
and he talked about how they start off with bebops, and then they had an exclusive contract deal with Intel. And these folks, I think it was in the first video, I walked by a booth in the first video, day one, all those drones, you can see the company name in the background. They were all had a little dome tops that, the colors would come in, and you buy through them. And there was another company, same thing. They were actually drone companies that specialize in drone light shows.
Parrot are big into
So-
that at the moment as well, aren't they?
Yeah. Mhm. So,
I think
yeah, I guess
Steve
there's a lot of
from
things we look at.
Flyby Guys says they use Parrot.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm thinking about starting a drone show company, but I don't have much money, so I'm just gonna start off with one drone
I emailed you
and
back.
try and
Yeah.
build my way up.
You gonna
Yeah.
go with the Pong level? We'll start off with Pong, and then we'll work our way up
Yeah.
to Pac-Man.
It's definitely a limited resolution with one,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
I'm just
Oh,
gonna
did
have to. I'm just gonna have to fly it real fast.
yeah,
The refresh
Yeah.
rate is
Reason why
gonna
it
be
shouldn't.
insane.
yeah. Like I said, you like Pong, you just fly from one part of the screen, then fly across the other part of the sky.
Yeah.
Ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding.
like an old telly, horizontal. Just
Yeah.
draw it horizontally.
Mm.
No, Michael, I
come
figured if
on.
you print out that QR code and go slap it on top of the Magna Carta, people get something a little bit more interesting.
Okay, I'll bear that in mind.
You saw did you see what it went to?
No, I haven't looked at it yet.
Oh, that goes to your channel on YouTube.
Oh,
That's
Oh,
a
it does?
custom, yeah, it's a custom QR code
Oh.
for your channel.
My channel. Okay, I have never made a video, but okay.
Hey,
We'll
welcome,
do that.
Dan. I saw you pop
Thank you.
in. Yeah.
Well, Dre,
Hopefully.
was there any indication at that show that even though DJI was not there directly representing, that there
Hi,
was
Dan
other companies might be representing DJI?
and Alf.
Well, like I said, Drone Nerds had basically all the fleet of drones they sell. And Drone Nerds pretty much specialize. They're a reseller here in
They're in
either- I think
Florida.
they're in the Carolinas or Florida, one or two.
Florida.
Florida. Okay, because
Yeah.
I bought my first thermal drone through Drone Nerds. And they had all their wares there. They had DJI drones there. They had Parrot drones. They had the new Anzul drones. They had just about anything you wanted, they had it there for display for the most part. So I didn't, and like I said, when I talked to those guys from the Department of Texas, Department of Public Safety,
No,
they were
I don't have
not,
a CD drive, so
they didn't have no
a lot of the
preference
new
either way.
computers don't come with
all
those
their-
anymore.
All their attitude was, as
I'd
long
have,
as we
you'd have
got
to have a
drones to
CD
do the
burner
work,
drive. I mean, you
we're
could buy a
satisfied.
drive for about $30 and do it,
Justin,
but you'd
Do you
have to
think
buy
you're
a
muted?
DVD or
sorry,
There
I
you
thought
go.
he was muted. I think.
There you go.
Checker.
But yeah, a lot of these folks are not getting overly concerned with the current legislation that is working its way through. And just like Don and I were talking, now with this TikTok thing sliding through as fast as it has, now we have to be concerned with something else gets slid in, another package that is more vital than that one issue.
Yep.
And that's what you got to be looking out for. Will something get slid in with something else that's a hot priority? And say, oh, by the way, guess what? This is also getting affected.
Well, everything. There's a lot of the anti-Chinese sentiment
It's hot.
is giving a lot of inertia, and once this goes through, that's just going to embolden.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
And so that's really this last few months. I was ready to purchase a new drone, but I'm not going to do it until I feel sure of
Yeah.
anything.
They could shut it down. You could end up with a fucking potato, well, not an actual potato drone, but a drone that doesn't work. A fucking
Well,
useless
So
$1,000.
and for what I do, the little Mavic Mini, my little toy drone, still gets the shots that I need for my commercial productions. And I got my little
If it ain't broke.
remote ID on it, so it's legal, and I can still get by with that. It's not my ideal platform of choice, but it gets the shot that I need. In fact, I got some real estate shots here that I'm getting ready to edit today. That was half of it was shot on that Mini.
Yeah, and what I have to remind everyone here and in the chat is that the CCP legislation is not written to restrict Chinese drones from the everyday consumer. It is basically written to restrict procurement for government agencies. That's how it's currently being written. Now, I've heard the other things about, the FCC, which is separate from this legislation that is currently going through, that if DJI is put on some kind of blacklist with the FCC, that can have widespread implications against its usage, even at the consumer level. Just like the Huawei phone debacle thing. That was put on the FCC list, which is different because the FCC controls all frequencies usage here in the United States. So that's
It's
a whole
Huawei,
other
not
animal.
Yahweh.
If it goes through the FCC, then any transmission between a phone or a controller and the drone will be illegal.
Right, right. So like I say, if it goes that route, that would affect totally not just government agencies, but also consumers, to my knowledge. Okay.
Yep.
They might have it just at a government level, but right now the current legislation, the way it's written, is all about procurement, using federal dollars at any level. And I say not just the federal agencies, the alphabet soup group, but federal money gets trickled out to states, it gets trickled out to local counties and local municipalities. So even here in the United States, a lot of police departments get a lot of their
Fire services.
their toy money to buy the new SWAT team truck, buy the new this vehicle, or even hire officers are based upon federal grants or things of that nature. So that means they cannot buy anything using federal dollars, federal grants. And that's where the procurement part comes into. But what people don't understand is that most departments here in the United States have not been able to use federal dollars to supplement their canine program. Most of your canine programs is either within the budget, local budget, or it's a special program that is supported locally by the community. Because they can't use federal dollars to get these dogs, because these dogs come from Eastern Europe.
In fact, we have a situation. We did our barbecue thing the other day at the lodge, and part of the money that we raised at the barbecue feed, the contest, was to go to
canine program.
At canine.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. There's people get a little, I would say, excited about different things, but I always got in mind, I said, there always been ways to do this. You can have, if the police department is really into drones, they can always have these, we have here in my area, coffee with a cop, lunch with a cop, things like Don said, barbecues and stuff to help fund these programs within the departments. The drone part is actually buying equipment, because you can train somebody to fly a drone. No
But
big deal.
Dre, Don's concerns around his hypothetical new drone being legislated out from under him, is that warranted or not, do you think? How warranted is Don's concern?
Like I said, it's a political hot potato, is what it's all about. And now it has evolved into an economic hot potato. Okay, we have not been on the best of terms with China for decades. You know, that's why they always go back to the big deal about Nixon goes to China. You know, that was one of the first U.S. presidents to step, foot in mainland China since World War II. So the adversarial nature of the U.S. and China is decades
That's
old.
historically, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, historical, correct. So that's why I said but the problem is it's never been attacked economically like it is now, where you're talking about could we set the doorway, the pathway of sending all of our companies, not all of our companies, but a large portion of our companies, because of the labor difference in cost, was so much cheaper. And that's why you had the Nikes, the Apples, the everybody else going to set up shop in China. And the first thing was because starting in the 60s here in the US, we started having our environmental laws. And it really jumped forward in the 70s behind President Nixon signing the EPA Act for here for clean water, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of companies feel like, if we got to start abiding by these new federal rules and regulations of what we can and can't dump into the waterways, we'll go over somewhere else where they don't care what we dump in the waterways. And that's why it's kind of funny.
Hamstringing.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I don't know if you guys are big F1 fans like I am. When I was watching the Chinese Grand Prix Sunday, they talk about every time they show a wide shot of the area, you can see how dense the cloud, or I say the smog level is.
Right.
And that's from decades and decades of industrial waste being put in the air.
Well, they had that problem at the Beijing Olympics, didn't they?
Right, yeah.
They had to clean it up to a certain level before they were allowed to actually hold the games.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying, that, we, allowed our companies to go to these different, foreign countries. I mean, I'm using China as an example, as we're talking about, because they didn't have any or very lax restrictions on environmental situations. And the same thing is going to happen. I think India has finally had enough. They're starting to lock things down over there. Vietnam's got to be careful because they're starting to become a big labor landing spot to go to. Malaysia has always had a little bit there off and on. So I mean, you're talking about going to countries that one has a very cheap labor pool. And I say India on their behalf, they have a very highly educated labor pool to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And that's why you have all the phone companies or whatever else, technology companies, having their we call your call centers.
Yeah.
Talking to Jonathan with the Indian accent, trying to tell you how to fix your TV box.
Yeah. I find them annoying, to be honest. It's bad when you get that.
Right.
Because all they're doing, they're handling you. They're not really, I mean, they're called call handlers, of course, but what they're doing is they're not actually technically helping you. What they're doing is it's sort of like they're agreeing with you, they've got a
they read off a script. That's what it is.
They're essentially reading the instructions that you have, but just with an Indian accent.
These companies are looking at countries that either have technical skill people there where they can set up shop, or they have non-technical skill people there who can be taught how to put together drones, how to put together a TV, how to put together automobiles and stuff.
Yeah.
Volkswagen did it throughout the 70s and 80s, moving most of their production to Mexico and stuff. So most of Volkswagens came out of Mexico that were sold here in the United States because the plants were in Mexico. So that's what I'm saying.
Volkswagen sold out the Volkswagen Beetle to a Mexican company anyway. So
And the
Yeah.
German-made parts are still very highly sought after.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
that's what I'm saying, that it's more of an economic issue just as much as it is a political issue, as far as
Yeah.
like, now you have countries like both England and the US, who we think we've gotten so sophisticated and we've gotten so advanced in our societies that the generations that should be working now feel that jobs like that are beneath them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They shouldn't.
And
But I mean,
and
that,
thing is,
that
all the
wasn't
problem.
just
we've
Volkswagen
become
either. I mean,
dependent on them.
Honda and Triumph.
and Michael,
And
as far as the
Bolt.
original question is whether or not the fear of DJI being grounded is
It's
warranted.
warranted.
Just go back last year. Did you think
The answer
TikTok
is yes.
would be banned?
No,
Or did you think-
absolutely not.
So
Absolutely not. If someone would have said that, I would have gone, no, bollocks.
it's like,
You're just
no,
worried
they're
about
it's all talk. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
look how close it is to going through. So
Right.
yeah, the fears are warranted, not because of any actual real reasons, but just for the political nature of it.
And this is why I say it's political, because even with this TikTok ban being going through, it'll be signed by end today. They still have 9 months to comply.
Mhm.
9 months to comply. So they still have 9 months to come together and create a new American corporate side of TikTok,
Mhm.
and still have the back door open to China if they want to. But as long as they satisfy the requirements within the bill, they can still have TikTok.
They have to sell to an American company.
That's what I'm
The
saying. They got to
yeah.
create this American side of the company, so it all fits the requirements of the bill. It's not like they have to sell the whole thing to it. They just need to sell that portion that is operating here in the United States, has to have a face to it.
Mm.
So like I said, it becomes political because it has become economical.
And it's
TikTok,
it's
Go ahead,
not like,
Justin.
I was gonna say, it's not like the US is picking on China, because China does the same shit. They don't allow,
Yeah,
they're not allowing American software, they're not allowing American stuff because they want to control everything, and they can't do that if they're foreign companies.
right.
It's the same thing. So it's
And
both.
that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that China has been doing this for decades. This like North Korea. North Korea controls every aspect of their people's lives. What they
Mhm.
hear, what they
Yeah.
see, what they eat, everything, how they live, they are on top of it. And China is almost the same way, to a certain extent, as far as their internet is nothing like what we're doing right now. Mark and Cool Cat would not be on this live stream if we were in
Mm.
China. If we were all in China, you guys couldn't come in because
And-
you're coming from outside the country.
And the discussion would be monitored. Now,
Well, the
sometimes
discussion-
not
this-
by
this-
external.
This discussion wouldn't even be taking place because we all be too scared to be a knock at the door.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, often, and here's the thing that's interesting, is often
Yeah.
it's the people themselves
was
that
me, yeah.
police themselves through fear.
Like-
It's a strange, phenomena.
And
that
what's
people
crazy?
End up.
Oh,
Go on.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, it's cool.
I was gonna say, I was watching a video, and it's so bad in North Korea. I was watching a South Korean news agency that was doing interviews with people that defected, and they were told that Americans were like monsters. Like they literally
yeah.
thought we were like what you see in horror movies.
Right. Yeah.
And then they
Do they have
took
a
them.
picture of you, Justin?
Yeah.
I'm saying,
They
like
say
they're-
that Westerners are monsters. They've got huge penises. I mean, they get some things right, but I mean, not everything.
oh my God. No, but they did. They literally, like, one of the ladies said the way we were taught, like she thought we were like these monsters out of like sci-fi books.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that's the way that she thought we looked and stuff. And then they
Mhm.
brought her, the same news agency that was doing the interviews actually took them on a tour through the US, and they just couldn't believe the difference in quality of life and how
The
nice people
Americans
were.
are descended from the Klingons.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Like that's the type of mentality they had. And then when they went on a tour of the US and actually met some people from different areas, and like they just couldn't believe how nice people were to them, and how friendly they were, and the quality of life was way different. Like they were completely blown away. They were like, this is nothing like we were told.
Mm.
Well,
That's
like
what,
I say, China, has always had an issue trying to control its population, just like North Korea. And this is how they can. They like anything else, you allow
Yes, yeah.
certain things in your own household that you allow if you raise children that you want your children to see at a certain age, and if they got older, you allow them to see certain other things. And it's just a controlled environment. They do it on a national scale.
Mm.
I think it's both fascinating and terrifying simultaneously.
Yes.
Mm. Yeah.
Yes.
So
And-
do you
and
think that
ahead,
little
Mark.
drone that's a square folding thing that's a flying camera that doesn't actually connect to a remote control or a phone, you press a button on the top of it to say which program it's got to do, and it goes off and does it on its own?
Yep, it's a cute little toy.
That's
Yeah.
actually going to be the only legal drone you can fly soon.
you know, it's funny. Ring Doorbell, the Ring company, was actually trying to come out. I don't think they ever actually developed it, but they were talking about developing a little tiny drone like the size of a Tello. And it would literally take off in the house and just do loops through the house and check on shit for you. And then it would go back and land on a little base station. I was
Now
like,
there
"Oh."
was even there was a vehicle set up that had a drone with it, like out of the movie Blade Runner 2020, was it 20, what year was it had and stuff. But it had a drone that would come up out of the vehicle. And like I said, that's the first thing came to my
Oh,
mind
yeah,
was,
that's right. Yeah.
that would be
Observation drone.
interesting to me. If you had a drone in your
Yeah,
vehicle
I
as
like
you
that.
parked it or whatever, the drone would do surveillance around your vehicle.
Yeah, that's what it was really cool about that Ring concept that they were talking about. They said like if the security system detects a noise in the house,
Yeah,
this thing would take off and then fly and go look and see what the hell's going on.
right.
And
Yeah.
it would
When
just
you look at
make
how
little,
sensible it is, when you look, I mean, what he does, Ryan, what's his name, Gosling guy, he gets out of the car, he says, surveil the, and he does a little wavy motion with his hand, right, to signal to the drone
Yeah, like
that
a
he wants
spark.
it to look from up, And the thing is, that's all that's all in alignment with what drones do nowadays. You can
Right.
give them hand
Yeah.
signals.
And
The drone
actually
was close enough for him to talk to it.
we have a system as close as we're going to get right now already in play with Teslas. Tesla
Right.
has cameras all around them. And
Mhm.
even when the car is parked, those cameras continue to roll. That's how they catch a lot of people messing with Teslas.
That's
Because
right,
the
yeah.
vehicle is recording 360
Yep.
around it.
oh, Ring is selling it. Okay. David said they have it on Amazon. Let me go look real quick. Yeah, this was a couple years ago when I saw it. I didn't know that they ever
Yeah.
actually came out with it.
So Teslas have been very, I would say, integrated and be able to catch people, tampering with vehicles, even not the
Yeah, I
Tesla
love
itself.
that.
Because it catches, I guess, the wide of angle that if it's parked close enough to a Tesla, it will pick up somebody else, messing with somebody else's vehicle.
Yep.
So that's, like I said, the technology's there. It's all there.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a matter of putting it
Putting
in
it
play
together.
and making I always say you got to make it reasonable that I would say at least a certain percentage of the population can afford it. It's always nice for the rich and famous to have this stuff, but there's not enough rich and famous
Yeah.
to go around to keep
And
the company busy.
affordability is also something to do with the success of something as well.
Yes,
Like
of
you
course.
say, there's no, if no one can buy it, then it's failed. It's failed
Right.
a
As
very
I said, if no
crucial
one can
part of
buy
its
it,
development.
it's not really it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is it. Yeah.
Or afford to buy it, I think, is the thing. If no one buys something because it's crap, and that's another part of the development failure. But if it's too expensive, then that's a bad thing.
Right.
I'm not seeing it.
You find it, Justin?
I'm looking for it. I don't see it on here anywhere. Unless David's got a link to it. I don't know what it's called though, either. I don't know the name of it. I just put Ring Doorbell drone in and nothing came up, so
you guys familiar with that video of the drone flying backwards through the hole in a rock formation? I'm going to show it to you. It's absolutely phenomenal. He loses signal on his drone, and rather than going straight upwards to to do the return to home thing, let me just find it on my phone. What happens is the drone turns around and you'll see it anyway, flies backwards through the hole.
Michael,
And
the
tremendous.
drones are programmed that if they lose signal, they return along the same route for about 50
That's right.
feet,
Yeah.
see if they can get the signal back
To-
before
Yeah, they
get
return to the place where they last had signal, and to see if they can recover it. And if not, then they go through the process of flying up.
Yeah.
And
Here we go.
returning home.
I found it on Ring's site. I didn't find it on. But see, it's just a little tiny drone, and when it detects like noise or anything in your house, it just takes off.
Mhm.
It has a little camera, and it'll fly around the house and do a patrol, and then come back and land in this little base station.
Wow.
But that's the drone there, and the little camera and everything.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
What's the quality of the camera?
Let's see
I
here.
should imagine it's only about 480, something like that.
I don't know. With Ring, I'd probably assume maybe 1080 at least.
Yeah, I said it needs to be at least 1080. Get a quality picture.
Doesn't
And
really
like I said, they send it to
say.
your phone.
If your Ring alarm, contact sensor, motion detect triggers.
Mm.
You see
Total specs.
criminals breaking into your
Yeah.
house armed with.
Oh
police-
no, it's 1440 by 1440.
So that's 2.7.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
No, it's not bad at all. That's actually excellent. That's excellent. So that's like I say
And it does
2.7
dual band.
resolution, dual Wi-Fi, which is a must nowadays.
Yeah, because most security systems, cameras and stuff, they still only run off 2.4.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's good. That one has actually both.
Hmm.
32 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
listen,
that's
Justin.
that's pretty cool
Sorry.
though. Yeah, go ahead.
Whoever's really good with doing this, because I don't want to do it, and I'm cooking breakfast, and I don't want to take anything on technically
Breakfast?
challenging. Listen, there's a link in the doodah. Can you go to the link, and then about 2/3 of the way through, you get he shows you the signal failure with the drone. It's very, very interesting to know what the drone does. You'll see. Let me just
What are
find
you
out
cooking
exactly where
breakfast
it
for
is.
at 4:30?
I say breakfast. I mean, obviously, I mean brunch.
All right, tell me which part because he's got it all time.
Okay, so 11:30. Go to 11:30 and play it from there.
Is that drone supremacy? No, somebody else.
It's Matthew
Thing is, the Avata 2
Dangle.
never stopped recording, so we can actually see what it did.
Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it,
So we
mate.
just came back, and I'm so curious to see what the Avata 2 did.
Right,
It really broke just in time.
watch this.
So I guess
It loses signal just after it passes
around
through.
this was the exact moment where it lost connection. And now let's see if it just broke in time, but it had to. No! No way! No way the Avata just flew through the hole by itself. When the connection got lost, I was just switching to normal mode and
We'll see it in a
I
sec.
tried to
You'll play the whole
visualize in
thing.
my head where the Avata is and what the hole looks like, and I just tried to push
That
forward.
right there
Worked
is
out.
not really impressive to
Yeah.
me because the
Oh,
simple
wait, you haven't
fact
seen
that-
anything yet. Wait.
Okay, now we do have the shot.
You wait.
Okay.
He hasn't done it yet.
That was the point when the Avata to realize the connection is lost.
Right.
And then
This
by
is
now
what he's saying.
probably
At this
go-
point, the Avatar realizes it's lost a connection. See what it does.
Mhm.
See? It's moving about left and right. He's not in control of that.
Turns it.
Right.
Watch this. So at this point, he's shitting bricks because
No.
he doesn't know whether or not it's
What?
going to crash and it's over water.
Right.
Look at it swaying side to
It
side.
turned around and went straight back through the hole. What the? No. No way. How did it survive this? Now it goes up. So, okay. I see. That's actually pretty clever.
They featured this on the
one
news as well, on
goes
JD's
back to the
news.
point where we lost connection, and then it starts to, yeah, get to the 50 meters. How lucky
back.
was that? But why is it like shaking? Maybe it is because there are new sensors on the bottom, and if it hovers,
Yeah, what
the
do you reckon
sensor
about that?
detect the
Why do you think it goes
opposite
from left to
on the
right, doing this little aileron
Because it's
thing?
lost GPS.
And that's how it managed to not crash
Mm.
against those walls. I'm speechless. I never felt so safe flying FPV drone. After 2 weeks with the DJI Avata 2, I can
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But my whole thing is this, that most, I know DJI drones,
Yeah.
even the early
Fucking Lance.
ones. The only thing I would say is a little bit impressive that it did fly back the exact route that it flew into.
Yeah, I
Most
suppose,
of DJI drones will raise to the return to home altitude you have set. And then I
Yeah.
say anything from the Inspire 2, the Phantom 4 Pro 1, Mavic 2 Pro, all the other ones, Air 2, Air 2S, everything going forward, have smart return. So it will
Right,
continue to
okay.
use its sensors to find the best route to return.
So
it
this
probably-
isn't something that's just available on the Avata 2.
No,
This
no,
is
it's on all of DJI's
on
drones.
some of
No,
them.
it's on all of them. Now, the only
All of
difference is
Ah.
the other drones would have went flying back towards it. As it got to the cave, it probably would have rose up and flew over the top of it at a very
Right.
close range, which probably would have been a more dynamic shot because it had been very close where he thought it would have crashed into the rock
Yeah.
instead of going back through the
that is
cave
interesting.
area and stuff and came back.
Okay.
But that technology's been around. I say it has evolved, but it's not new tech. You know, it's evolved to that level where the Avata may come back the exact path that you went through, it will
Okay.
fly back through.
Lance really hates the Avata too. I
Oh,
think you
Lance,
should
I
just
thought he liked it.
look. Joe wants another Avata too. I think him and Joe should just trade one of the old Avatas for the new one, straight up.
Yeah, well, why does Lance hate the Avata too?
Because he thinks it flies like a kite. He doesn't like it. He thinks it's
Oh,
not
it
as
drifts
good.
too much?
Plus, it's a little too big.
Try
He said
to
it's bigger.
fly. If try to fly through some holes in a rock wall that he
Mhm.
flies through with his Avata 1,
Right.
because it's a little bit wider, a little bit lighter, and more susceptible to wind, it got blown into the wall.
Mm.
I think it's just pilot error myself, but you know, that's. I said, I would say Joe wants another Avata. Just do a straight up trade. Fly more for fly more. Because I think he
Well,
sold his Avata, his first one.
Yeah, I was thinking about buying Johnny's and then, you know, the folks, and I said I had to come to my senses and make another business call and said, I just had to go get another Mavic 3E.
Well, it
But,
wasn't any better out there, Dre, today.
Yeah, I said, that's the price we pay, you know, as having small aircraft that we're so at the mercy of the weather.
Well, what sucks about it living in Southern California too, is it's windy there all the time versus like here, you don't get wind that often.
Well, you know, we do okay.
Yeah,
and
you
stuff.
got. I remember living there though. You have wind
Oh,
quite
yeah.
a bit.
Yeah,
There's
depends on where
always
you're
some.
at though.
Yeah, like
Well,
out
there-
where I lived, it was windy all the time.
Right. Yeah.
The Coast Guard's calling for gale force winds out there.
Yeah, I think that's quite a bit there, Paul. If the Coast Guard's calling, that means everybody out the water. Everybody out the pool now.
Yeah, I couldn't get up and around it. The ship.
Yeah.
What, you just tried to go fly again?
Yep, it just did.
Well, where's the video? Let's see it.
Okay, hang on.
Do you use any apps, Paul? Any, Altitude Angel or Drone Assist?
Now,
thing?
Paul, have you updated your smart controller in the last week?
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna tell you, there is a update for it, so make sure you get it in.
Okay, you know who you're asking that, right?
I don't
know, but
care.
The thing is, they're very useful.
I would
They're
hate
very
for
easy to
Justin, I
use.
hate for him to lose another drone
Paul
because something.
uses UAV forecast like
No,
everybody
no,
else.
no, no.
Oh, there you
No.
go. Yeah.
Cool Cat was
UAV
asking if he
forecast.
used all these apps. I was like, you know who you're talking to, right?
I just don't want him to lose a drone because some kind of incompatibility issue between the controller and the drone.
Okay, this
Yeah.
this is the one I just flew.
Beautiful shot, though.
Yeah, you
Very
can
nice.
still use that. Why not?
Oh yeah, yeah. I can. I'll just edit all of it. You know,
The Erie Trader, huh? Okay.
this is an articulated tug barge.
The problem is you're backing up. Do you know what's behind you? Because it's probably a bridge, right?
Yeah, there's a bridge behind me. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, he's got off the
You got line of
sensors.
sight view on the drone.
Oh yeah, he don't fly very far from where he's at. Maybe
So
a
an
quarter mile. If
articulated
that.
tug barge doesn't actually have any power of its own.
Yeah, look at
No.
that. Look, it's attached
It's
itself
just
to the
the
back. I
same
love
as
that.
You
It's
can see it
basically
right
a-
here. It's notched in
Yeah.
the back here.
I didn't even know
Yeah.
that was a thing until I
Yep.
saw it on here.
An
It's
articulated
basically a
tug-
semi on the water, isn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's the
I
best
love
way
it.
to describe
What
it.
a
Like
great
a
idea
semi.
as well. Because the thing is, if you don't need it and it's just sat somewhere getting loaded and unloaded, then why have a huge engine not doing anything?
Now here's
Just like a-
here's where it gets interesting. Okay, so now I can't get ahead of it.
Oh, I see. You're pushing it and it won't go.
Won't go.
Okay.
What were you
Well,
Well, you've
flying?
got an
in
oncoming
sports
wind as
mode?
well.
Yep. Sports mode.
Oh yeah, if your sports mode's not even getting you up there, then you're really hitting some winds.
Mm.
Because those Air 2s and Air 2Ss are tough little birds.
Yeah, you've got to
That
realize
means-
that everything is added on. You've got your relative ground speed, you've got your airspeed, which
So
is of
I
course
tried
the only
to
thing
move
that
around to
matters
go
to the
into the
drone.
wind, and I'm not getting anywhere.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
all I said. If that thing was struggling in sports mode, you were definitely hitting some strong winds.
I guess you have to catch some coming. This inbound or outbound, Paul?
This is going out north.
Okay,
Okay, so
so
you got-
right here, use that shot when he was first coming in at the beginning, and then use this shot here, and then clip the rest of
Look
it
at
out.
the flags in the background.
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they
Those
are
are 20-foot
absolutely
flags.
straight, aren't they? Wow.
Mhm.
Like I said, I think if you take the first part of the video and this little part here, that'd be a good little video for you to post. A little shorter than normal, but
I blame Canada.
yeah, it's always the Canadians' fault, of course. You know, they like to get in that water and think it's half theirs.
That
When
bloody
they
river
finally
again.
put AI into Movie Maker and it'll stabilize it for him.
I'll tell you that fucking meta AI is super annoying. Facebook. Every time you want to search somebody's name or something, now it takes it through that stupid ass AI shit.
Yeah, and gives you loads of stuff that it thinks looks like that name.
Oh yeah, because I went to put in Wayman Joe's thing or whatever. I put in his channel name just to see if he had a Facebook thing for his channel, and it said, "It looks like you're trying to look up something that has to do with Jordanian or some shit like that."
Yeah, Jody.
Yeah,
It's YI man is a
Yeah.
standard Newcastle phrase.
that's what it recognized that, but it wouldn't look it up to see what it was. It just gave me the definition of it. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Right. I've just got to disappear. My sister's phoning.
All right. Yeah, Lance really don't like that new Avata though. He's the only one I've heard complain about it. Everybody else seems to love it. I said if he sold his original Avata, then just do a straight up trade with Joe. Fly more for fly more. Well, you know what's funny, Dre, though, is the second Avata came out, and it's like $700 cheaper for everything to go with it, the Fly More kit and everything, than the one was.
Oh,
So that one's going to have to come down in price. I just don't see how they could keep it up more expensive
Yeah.
than the second one. Because if you
Well,
buy the
and-
second one with everything, it's like 2,200, or the first
well,
one.
you know who it hurts the most is the people who bought the full kit first one. Now they can't resell it at a higher cost.
That's what I said. It's going to drive the cost way down because the newer one was like 1,500. Oh wait, never mind. He dropped out. Son of a bitch. I think he was going to plug his battery in it. But yeah, the first drone's like 2,200. The second one's only 1,500. I don't see how they could keep it at that price.
I hope it's not too noisy. Me cooking my breakfast.
They're extremely noisy. It's ridiculous.
Oh dear.
I hear every egg cracking.
I'll have to turn.
I'm just kidding. You're fine.
We can't hear a thing. What the-
Yeah.
Okay.
All I can hear is you complaining about us hearing it.
All right.
Yeah.
I promised myself this breakfast yesterday, so I'm definitely having it, even if it is what 4 o'clock.
You got some good clips there. You can clip it together and make a decent video out of that. Paul.
Yeah, I think I can. I can.
Yeah, I think if you take that first part of the video and then that's
Edit,
the last part, and then just cut that middle section out, it's going to be a little shorter than normal, but you'll have a good shot of it.
Right.
Yeah, definitely be careful out there. I probably wouldn't fly the rest of the day,
Yeah.
especially if the Coast Guard's putting alerts out. Then you know that shit's getting bad.
Right. Well, Justin, you're the host.
Am I?
Yep.
Oh shit! Here, let me make you host that.
I was gonna say it's up to you. I mean, we can call it a day. We're down to 10 people watching.
It's already 12, so yeah. Yes. Oh, look at this thing real quick before we go. DARPA's new X-65 they're working on.
Who manufactures DARPA?
DARPA is the agency that's like the most technical agency in the US government. So
Okay,
like
so it's a U.S. aircraft.
yeah, so like if the NSA or the CIA are trying to figure out how to make like say a special explosive or something, or they were trying to make some kind of computer program, if they can't figure it out, it all ends up at DARPA.
Okay.
And DARPA has all the top scientists like and
The
researchers in
equivalent
the
in
world.
England is the Defence Evaluation Research Agency, DERA. So
Yeah, and DARPA is like the last stepping stone to figuring out a project. Like DARPA actually put a statement out a couple of years ago that was real interesting. They said, everything you've seen in Star Wars, we've tried, and it's either failed or it's succeeded, but we're not going to tell you which ones failed and which ones succeeded. So like lightsabers, all that shit that you've seen in the movies, they've tried all that shit.
they've even tried having sex with green women.
Probably, and I'm sure that probably succeeded. It might have been more orange, because they probably had like liver failure or something.
Yeah,
To get that skin color, little jaundice,
Hey everybody, I think we're gonna call it a day. And well, I'll be on again at 5 o'clock. Are you doing any shows today, Justin?
Probably not.
Okay.
Hey Justin, come game with me for an hour, would you?
I gotta leave to take Sarah back to the hospital here in a little bit to do her paperwork.
You should get your priorities right, you know?
I thought, no, this week's just a little tight until this weekend.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we have to
Well,
go back
buddy,
over there about 1 o'clock. So.
Thanks for being
Yeah, okay.
here. We'll
right.
see,
Give my
we'll see
regards.
all of you again later today at 5 o'clock Eastern.
And Lance, I will take that, by the way. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Later.